Oh, hello everyone. Welcome to ALR Gold Round 7 here in Australia. We are down under, and probably one of the most laid-back countries you'll ever be in. It wouldn't be laid back for me though, because I'm terrified of spiders, and I gotta say, seeing some links on Facebook over the years about these big huntman spiders and things like that. Well, I really wouldn't like to go there. Apart from that, though, I would love to come to Melbourne, Australia. That is a fact as well. I've got to say, it's one of my favourite races of the season, isn't it? And it's a brilliant way to start off a season traditionally in Formula One. But of course, this is not our start of our season. This is of course round 7. We'll go through drivers and constructors in just a few moments' time, as we are just waiting to kick down the start to the session as well. Then before I go on and waffle about any sorts of random things which no one's interested in, let me quickly go through the drivers and the constructors. Before let's take a look at the track layout, shall we? 16 turns around this circuit, been on the calendar since '96. Before then, we used to be in Adelaide, didn't we? And I quite like that track actually. The Formula 1 95 game was absolutely brilliant. I love that game just for one reason. That was driving around Adelaide. It was a cracking old circuit, wasn't it? Unfortunately, the final race in Adelaide, of course, was marred by very stressful times, wasn't it? Especially for the McLaren team and Mika Hakkinen. That awful smash there, wasn't he? That was a scary old shunt there from Mika Hakkinen, but he was on the grid though, back in Australia like a couple of months later. It was absolutely phenomenal turnaround, wasn't it, from the flying fin? Absolutely fantastic as well. I think that was also I think the last time in Australia as well, in Adelaide. I think it was Damon Hill who was like 2 laps in front of everyone else. I think Morbidelli was on the podium as well for the footwork team. So that was that's a random stat for you, isn't it? I've got to say, that was one of the first races I watched on YouTube. I loved that. And that just shows what I do in my spare time. Not a lot of useful stuff, unfortunately. Anyway, going back to the circuit. Of course, this is slightly different to, of course, Adelaide. Of course, this is a 3.2 mile circuit around Albert Park, Melbourne. Back in '96, Villeneuve and Hill were dominating the first race, wasn't they? Back in '96. Of course, that was also the scene of where Martin Brundle took up flying lessons and went on the back of Johnny Herbert's Sauber. That was a scary old shot, wasn't it? Of course, Alonso repeated the feat 20 years later, didn't he, when he went into the back of Gutierrez. That was a big smash as well, wasn't it? Blimey. That was a scary one. The time is ticking down. That means I better get into official mode. And let's go through the Drivers' Championship, shall we? Grand T at the moment then. We'll talk about Grand T in just a few moments, because it's a special day for Grand T. But at the moment, he is top of the sheets, as he is on 113 points, 24 points clear of Emerson, last year's runner-up. Once again, it's a repeat of season 2, isn't it, between these two? An absolutely incredible showdown. He is 24 points behind at the moment, so he's almost a win behind already. Can Granty extend that advantage today? That is the golden question, isn't it? Third at the moment is Nigel. He's dropped down 1 position. Season 1 champion has dropped down to third. Jonathan is going for the record. Is going to join a record today of actually being the most pole sitters in a single season. Fantastic stuff for Jonathan. He's in 4th. Echo, his teammate, in 5th position. Alfa Romeo looking fantastic. Farf 6th with Fisher in 7th. Steve 8th. Roscoe 9th. Mr. Elite is in 10th position then. Good stuff from Mr. Elite, and he is driving today as well. Biggest losers over the course of the last race was Mr. Elite dropping down 2 positions, and also Twang dropping down 2 positions as well. Once again, Twang is missing tonight, unfortunately. In the constructors, we have got Williams there, who are in the lead. Is in the lead by 10 points. Second position is Alfa. Second is Mercedes. They're 10 points beyond Williams. And Alfa Romeo, cracking start to the season from both Jonathan and Echo. Brilliant stuff as well. Racing Point in 4th position. Ferrari 5th with Haas 6th. Toro Rosso 7th. They've had a big jump in points, haven't they? But unfortunately, last race out, they didn't do too well. McLaren 8th, Renault 9th, and Red Bull, the first ever Constructors Champions in the ALR, is bringing up the rear in 10th position there. So not a good start then. As you can see then, they're all keen to go out here in Albert Park. Unfortunately, we've only got 16 drivers tonight, so it's a bit of a glorified practice session, really, which is really bad. It's really bad for you guys, because that means I can waffle away about all sorts of rubbish going on. There's one thing I ain't going to. One thing that's definitely not rubbish today, though, is a huge happy birthday to my champion and to your champion. That is Granty Boy, who is I think he's 27 today, I think, or 28. I'm only guessing that because judging from his gamer tag of 93. And, I think I'm about right anyway. So yes, today Granty becomes a man once again, and the man, can he extend his in the championship? That is the question, isn't it? And let me quickly go through the comment section, shall we? As I'm already behind. Jonathan Cox saying good evening, Sean. Good evening, Jonathan. As we mentioned there, Jonathan could potentially get the most polls in a single season. Fantastic stuff. Granty, hello, Shawnee from the birthday boy. As I said, he is my champion, isn't he? And it's also his birthday as well. Brandon there. Good evening, Brandon. Hope you're well. Happy birthday, Granty, as well. Granty also saying, reminding us of that awful smash there. Fernando Alonso, Sector 1, flipped his car with the Haas. Crazy crash. It was scary, wasn't it? Young Lights evening, Young Lights, of course. He's hoping to get his championship kickstarter tonight as well, as we're a couple of minutes into this session now as well. We have also got Grant saying thanks, and of course Young Lights has 2 points, but I'm good around Australia, so hopefully I'm going to score some points. Gavin wishing Grant happy birthday. We've also got Todd. Good evening, Todd. Good evening. How's it going? Emma saying best of luck to the birthday boy. I'm coming for you. And Todd also wishing Grant happy birthday as well. Then so good stuff. Sam is retired from qualifying as he has got a Q1 ban then. So basically this is exactly a practice session, isn't it? So really, technically you don't really need to qualify. Well, I suppose you do, don't you, really, to get through. But I think the farthest traditional party trick, so to speak, is actually going on the wet wear tires. So expect to see Farf on the blue shod tires in this session. And it's that Young License just coming down to turn 1 now then, and flicking it through there beautifully well, and accelerating out there. Going over turn 2 then. Of course, remember tomorrow night is at Silver's go, and I look forward to Silver as well. Silver had a fantastic race in Hungary last time out, didn't they? We'll cover both gold and silver from tonight, whilst we have got 40 minutes to natter array and talk about all sorts of weird and wonderful things as Young Lights flying through turn 5 there. His rear end was getting very floaty, wasn't it? As accelerating down into turn 6 then. Yeah, last time out in Hungary, great drive from Jonathan. He was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? Him and Bowden. It was the slightest of touches between himself and Bowden. It really was, wasn't it? It was. I was convinced that they didn't touch there, but from what Jonathan's on board, because the arrows didn't really show Bowden very too close to him, but. Yeah, it was the slightest of touches disturbed the car, and they both clashed. Jonathan had a superb comeback drive to finish on third in the end, or second. I should know about this, should I really? I think it was third, wasn't it? It was third in the end there for Jonathan. Safety car came out and we had a good old sprint finish to the end there. It was brilliant stuff, wasn't it? Granty getting his third race win of the season, and he has won half the races so far. Can he keep up his strike race? Absolutely fantastic stuff as well. On board then with Lightsen, who is gone fastest on the 21 there, right out of the blocks there for Young Lights. Brilliant stuff from the Red Bull driver. We got Mumford, who is just coming out of the turn 14 and into turn 15. Ricardo had a big old smash there, didn't he, in 2017 in qualifying. Mumford, no such problems. Oh my goodness me, getting very close there to turn 16. Remember the first time they had DRS around here? Sutil did a 360-degree spin there and somehow kept out of the wall. That was incredible stuff from Sutil way back when. That was scary, wasn't it, to say the least? What about New F1? And he goes second fastest there. New F1 is so good stuff there from the Toro Rosso driver. Mr. Elite is just starting us up now. We've got an Alfa Romeo in the background as well. Here comes Echo coming up to the line, and let's see what Echo can do. And he goes into second position then. Well done from Echo, lovely. So Echo moving himself in second position. As we said though, this is all you got to do is put a time on the board and you're through there. Of course, Sam has got a Q1 ban there for his misdemeanors. So unfortunately for Sam then, so he's going to have to set out this qualifying session. So yeah, is that Matt there just coming down into turn 9 and 10 now then. The accelerates away. We've got Broke Gorilla saying happy birthday, Granty. We've also got him saying John for pole position and the race win there. So Todd there never sitting on the fence. He never sits on the fence, does he? Todd does it right in there with the money as well. We've also got Droffer saying good luck and happy birthday, Granty Mumford. Why is everyone wasting softs? That was his question there. We've got Emerson also on the intermediate tyres as well. So we've got a couple of guys there who put on the wet shod tyres then. I haven't heard of a weather report yet from any drivers, so I'm wondering if we might have some sprinkling of rain. I don't think we're going to get in qualifying so much, but possibly in the race then. But it can change quite quickly in Australia, can it? Of course, I think in 2013, for the first time ever, we had a two-part qualifying, didn't we? In terms of we had a Q1 and Q2 on the Saturday, and then of course it was abandoned because of the absolutely appalling weather conditions. As Q3 was then run on the Sunday, wasn't it? And I think it was Vettel who got pole position that day. Of course, Kimi Räikkönen got the victory there. And it gave me false hope, really, of thinking that Kimi Räikkönen would go for a championship challenge that season. How wrong was I? Steve there just coming out of turn 10 then as he's coming around the very long... it's technically a straight, isn't it? But it's a straight with a curve in it, isn't it, if that makes sense. Turn 11 and 12, and I've got to say, this is a brilliant part of the race. The track is fantastic, isn't it? No DRS for Steve then around here, so he doesn't want to show his true speed just yet in the Haas car 45. I think he's had a good start to the season, Steve Haas, hasn't he? He's had 22 points. He's in front of his teammate Fireshot by a couple of points as well. Then of course you always get judged by your teammate in Formula 1, don't you? So I think Steve's had a decent start, but I feel that there's been a lot of opportunities where he possibly could have been a bit higher up the grid, as we've got a Racing Point who is at an adventure somewhere. It's Gunnar then, the Irishman who's took a trip to the wall somewhere by the looks. Or has it, or am I just lying? I think I am lying, because there's all his pieces are in the right direction there for Gunnar, so that is all good then. And he is, I think he just needs to finish this lap, really, Gunnar does, and then he would also be through as well. So we have 9 minutes to go in this session, and so it's a bit like a test session, really, isn't it? If anyone's been watching the tests over the course of the week, I got to say it's been brilliant, hasn't it? Mercedes with that DAS system, I got to say, I don't mean the soap. Which they probably do use DAS actually, because it's a phenomenal old washing up thing, isn't it? It's not even washing up, is it? I don't know. That just shows how much I use the old washing machine, doesn't it? But yeah, it is the DAS system, of course. That steering mechanical device is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? I think they pull the steering wheel forward or something like that, and the front wheels just now. It's incredible, isn't it? I've got to say, technically, I'm not a very technically gifted man at all. As you heard, I just struggle to use household appliances. So yeah, you're trying to explain what the Mercedes new technical gizmo is brilliant, isn't it? It's incredible as well, because these final year of these current regulations, and Mercedes are still Jonathan, they're getting very wobbly. The rear end there is on the Alfa Romeo, but he's on his way. It's great to see how Mercedes, even on the final year of the technical regulations, they're still pushing the boundary, pushing the envelope, aren't they? Brilliant stuff indeed. Then John coming through the slowest corner on the track, turn 15, before stamping on the loud pedal. He is coming through the final turn now as well. He's going the soft tires, so as Young Lights at the moment is fastest currently. I think Young Lights had a really good, as Jonathan goes faster on a 20.9 at 6.9 there. Good stuff. Right, the blocks there as well, Jonathan is. Wow, that's quite impressive then. Here comes Nigel on his intermediate tyres then. I think there's a bit of moisture in the air for Nigel to be thrown out onto the inters. He is them fast at the moment. We've got Fireshot coming through, and he is third fast at the moment in the house then. Good stuff for Fireshot, brilliant. And puts himself onto the second row of the grid then. We're on board with Farf then as he is coming through the final. As he's coming through the final corner now, and he's about to get it away then as well then. As you can see there now, I think it's unusual to see groove tyres, isn't it? Of course, the last time we've seen groove tyres on a dry track in Angra, the Formula 1 circuit, was probably, I think it was Brazil, 2008, wasn't it? Before they went back to the slick tyres in 2009. Yeah, that was quite a surprise, wasn't it? I think it was brought up by the overtaking group back then, wasn't it, to go back to the slick tyres. Came out of the blue, really, didn't it? As there was a lot of regulation changes between 2008 and 9. It really shook up the grid, didn't it? Back then, it was brilliant to see a different team other than McLaren and Ferrari just battling at the top then, and BMW as well. BMW also coming to their own as well back then. Yeah, really shook up the grid there, and it gave Red Bull an opportunity there to really put themselves in front, and they did a good job that season, didn't they? I think Braun showing the development race that they really did struggle, didn't they? And Red Bull really took the march, didn't they, in the second half of the season? And it also brought back there the McLaren team and also the Ferrari team as well. And of course, Kimi Räikkönen winning the 2009 Belgian Grand Prix, whilst Hamilton also took a couple of victories as well. Just on board Favre. Of course, there's a bit of a leisurely pace. This is for Ferrari's for Favre. He's done a 1 minute exactly there on the Ferrari. And of course, he's got no teammate tonight. We are missing a couple of regulars here tonight. We're missing Stringy, we're missing Fisher, we're missing Toon, and also we're missing Murphy as well. Lovely drift there from Favre. Of course, Dan Murphy is not very well then, so hopefully he gets better. Of course, no, we've also missing his teammate Twan as well, so no Renaults on the grid whatsoever there. Of course, they're the defending constructors champions, so that is a huge blow, isn't it, for their aspects, isn't they? As Farf coming through the final turn there as well. And Grant he thought he was raining in, as of course Grant. I do not. Obviously, here in ALR we do not encourage drinking and driving, but I think one of Grant's best ever drives was when he had some alcoholic beverages. I think it was back in Mexico, wasn't it? Brilliant drive there from Farf, and of course I think he's on it again tonight. As he thought it was raining. I thought it was raining as well, but that's just the sweat coming off my brow as I am getting very excited to see cars on the track. Then here comes Gunnar, then he's on the soft tyres then. So Gunnar then just come down to turn 3. Look at the shade there, isn't it? I bet it's very hard to spot a breaking point, isn't it? From Gunnar's point of view. We've also got we've also got Brandon saying same here. Brandon must be seeing things. Jonathan heavily compromised by Nigel and a Mercedes on Inters. He's annoyed a bit there, Jonathan is there, even though Jonathan still sits top of the timesheets then. A very competitive man Jonathan is at the moment. He is currently sat 4th in the championship, isn't he? It's not remember the second half of the season last season, Jonathan was absolutely superb, wasn't he? Brilliant stuff for Jonathan there. I think Grant also came into his own with the second half of his last season as well. Just banging in those consistencies was brilliant, wasn't it? Gunnar there. I thought he was pointed the wrong way. There's a Williams there of Roscoe just coming out on track at the moment as well. Brandon's retired from the session then, so we're expecting Q1 to stop quite abruptly, as this is not really a competitive Q1, unfortunately. It was disappointing to have only 16 drivers here tonight. Yeah, very disappointing indeed, really. Let's say Gunnar there coming around the final turn now. Let's see what he can do. Car 83 on his way then. Oh, look at that, getting a bit twitchy on the rear then. Gunnar up to the line, and let's see what Gunnar does. He puts himself in 9th position. Gunnar does good stuff indeed there. The most experienced man in ALR, and of course he is a fan favourite as well. I think he's on 42 starts tonight, isn't he, Gunnar is? Indeed he is. 42 starts there. I think that is probably I was probably getting up there with the most starts in a league, isn't it, really? Of course, we know that Matt's been driving in various leagues over the years, and I think that he's been in the IRC league since day one, as he, of course, the founder, the boss. So I don't think that record's ever going to be matched there, but I've got to say, good stuff there from Gunnar there to really be consistent as well. Matt there is having another crack, I think, and let's see what he's doing. He's 800s down there, Matt is. This is on the same soft tires that he set a time on earlier then. Let's take stock then as Roscoe's on track. Let's stay with Roscoe then in the Rocket Williams, and he's flying through the middle sector now then. He's just going up to the time and beam for sector 2. He's done a 49.563 there. Good stuff. 563, 568 there. Going over the rumble strip as well. You can see DRS has 3 DRS zones around this Australian circuit on the back straight, and then in between turn 2 and 3. And also in between at turn 12 and 13 then. Roscoe there is just coming into turn 15 now as well. There's now Romeo just in front of us, Jonathan then, so I think he wants to just go out and do a better time now, doesn't he? I think Jonathan is really aiming to just kind of demoralise the opposition before they get going here, really. Jonathan is. He's definitely very much on the money there tonight. I think Matt comes into the pits. Look how slow. Look how low that sun is. That's getting right in the driver's eye then. Yellow flag is Jonathan. I think he's invalidated his time. I think he took too much commitment into turn 1 and 2, and unfortunately because of that he's invalidated his time. Just 2.5 minutes to go then. Farf is back out on track as well. He's back on the intermediate tyres now, so it must be drying up for Farf out there. He can see a dry patch on the circuit. Good stuff there from Farf then. We've also got Roscoe also on track as well, but he is on an in-lap at the moment then. So, as I did promise I'll talk about the Silver League as well. Of course, so we talked about gold in Hungary. It was fantastic. I think we had 2 brilliant races in Hungary last time out, because the highlight packages were actually 18 minutes long for gold and 17 minutes long for silver. I try in ALR we do try and keep it down to 10 minutes because we like short, snappy videos of what's going on, and but unfortunately, as we got another Alfa Romeo of Echo just cruising there as well. Yeah, we do like to keep it short and snappy in the highlight videos, but 18 and 17 minutes long. That just shows how action-packed those races are. It's fantastic, wasn't it, in the Hungarian Grand Prix? Brilliant stuff indeed there. Of course, Grant getting his third race win of the season, and we're on board the three-time winner in his career so far, and that is Farf. I remember he won this race last season, didn't he? Brilliant stuff. He had a good start last season, Farf did, winning the first two races, which was actually the next two races as well. So Farf, he surely has the fanciest chances there, doesn't he? And that is an Alfa Romeo who I think is in a world of trouble there, is he? No, yeah, he's just out there just enjoying the sunny Australian afternoon. Then Farf just accelerated out of the Brundle turn there as well, and coming through the car park there, which I think is a car park most for the rest of the year, but today it is we got a bit of a track go. Farf almost going into the bar there. Wow, that would have been too good, would it, for Farf? As I was saying, he won the first two races last season, and those are the next two races coming up in Australia and Bahrain. So Farf surely has to be feeling very very confident. Remember, this is Emerson's first time around Australia in ALR, so let's see what Emerson's do. Emerson, remember, joined in round 4 of last season. Jonathan's retired from the session as well, with just under half a minute to go as well. Farf is 3 seconds up then, so it just shows the how much better the intermediate tyres are. The intermediate tyres are usually designed to go on well, basically it does exactly what it says on the tin, really. Half dry, half wet track. Of course, the wet tyres can disperse 60 litres of water, whilst the intermediate tyres could disperse 25 litres of water. Whether that's right or not, I do not know. I just heard it from a Crofty, and that's all that matters to me. Whatever he says is right to me. Yep. So he probably could be telling me, he could be telling us all kinds of baloney there. Farfar's character like now, and that's not a bad time actually for Farfar. He's done a 36 there, 3 seconds in front of Emerson, and of course 5 seconds in front of the birthday boy as well, Granty, who is down in 14th position then. So Simon, of course, got a qualifying banner. Nigel chucking it into turn 1, and he is on the soft compound tyres around Australia. And it's got a couple of yellow flags out there. Those guys are just recovering back to the pits then. Just on Droff was saying you should still just about sneak through with that lap, John. Droff there, yeah, Jonathan was a bit disgruntled with that lap, but I think Droff and me are on the same wavelength there. Yeah, Jonathan should be able to sneak through. Young Lights there. Can Young Lights really can he get off the mark? He's only got 2 points so far in the drivers' standings there. He is down in 19th at the moment, isn't he? Of course, Gunnar had a good race last time out, and he moved himself up to 18th. Remember the relegation at the moment then, so Young Lights would be dropping down to silver if he finishes 18th. If he finishes where he is. Of course, Toonfant is also in the relegation battle, as is Nigel there, getting very close to the inside wall, turn 12, and that wouldn't be good at all there for the season 1 champion, Nigel. Blimey, that definitely woke me up. I think that might have woke Nigel up as well, as it's been a very casual start to this qualifying session in ALR. With only 15 drivers in this session, because Sam has got a qualifying ban, and the rest unfortunately haven't turned up for one reason or another. Nigel goes fastest on a 20.966, and there's more in the bag as well for Nigel, I feel, because he had a very worrying moment, didn't he, out of turn number 12 then. So it's Nigel coming to the pit said that is it for the first, I'm going to call it a practice session. That was our first practice session done and dusted. We'll be into the second part of practice in second part of practice. No, in the the second part of qualifying in just a few moments time. Then as Nigel is fast as Jonathan second, Lights is in third. 4th is Fireshot, Echo 5th. Where we got Steve in 6th. We've got a yellow flag in the. It's Farfair who is and the Venture as well. Then I think he's just making sure that Ferrari can turn left and right, which I gotta say is actually a lot more difficult thing to do, as I struggle to go left, right, forwards, backwards, all kinds of places. As we're referring to, as that is it for qualifying 1. Let's just take a quick look at the. Don't take these times as gospel, mind, because this. Look at that. The time between Jonathan is Nigel 3,000 for a second. That is really revving up for a good Q3, isn't it? And but as I said before, I got too excited there. Don't take these times as anything meaningful just yet, because that was more of a glorified practice session. But let's look at the classification, shall we, from Q1. Nigel fastest, then with Jonathan second, Lights in third, Fireshot in fourth, Echo and Matt 5th and 6th. Then we got Steve and Brandon 7th and 8th. 9th is Roscoe, 10th is Mr. Elite, Gunnar and Mumford 11th and 12th. And I can't remember I think it was then Farf and Emerson, then followed by Granty. And of course, Sam unfortunately didn't take to the track as he is confined to the pit lane for being a naughty boy. So then, this is I know that was a very nice and relaxing Q1 session, that is. So now we're going to go to Q2, and this is where it gets really competitive, doesn't it? This is where the pressure starts to ramp up then. So that's a leisurely start then to the Australian Grand Prix. Round 7 of ALR. Remember, we got for the first time ever in ALR history, we have a random calendar, and so this is round 7 then. So coming out of the pits now then. Who is going the first man on track then? I think it's usually now for a male, isn't it? And it is indeed, and it's in the form of Jonathan then. Car 25 then, just going through turn 1 now then. As lovely shot there from is that the Alan Jones stand there? I don't know. If that barrier to the left hand side of the screen there is quite famous for where Ralph Schumacher and Barrichello ended up in that horrific accident back in 2002. Blimey, that was a shunt and a half, wasn't it? I think Ralph Schumacher went over the gearbox, over the rear wing of Barrichello, didn't he? A scary old shunt as well. And we lost almost half the field there, didn't we? Almost everyone retired from the season, from the race there. Mark Webber, of course, got the Minardi's best performance in a number of years there with a brilliant 5th position. Mika Salo in the Toyota, remember that's Toyota's first racing effort, wasn't it? And they finished 6th there. I think that in hindsight, I was watching a documentary on YouTube and how disappointed they were to finish behind the Minardi. And to be honest, that was just showing the sign of things to come in Toyota in 2002. Bit of a disappointing Formula 1 run for Toyota because in motorsport, Toyota have been absolutely fantastic, haven't they, in terms of all life of motorsport, haven't they? In WRC, they were fantastic, weren't they? I think they did very well with Carlos Sainz Jr., didn't they? No, not Junior, Senior. Carlos Sainz Senior. Of course, Carlos Sainz Jr. probably would have just been a twinkle in his daddy's eyes then back when Carlos Sainz was driving for the Toyota in WRC. And as we're on board, Jonathan, they've flicking through turn 1 and 2. Let's go on board with a British Italian driver then. DRS right on the money coming up to turn 3. Then turn 3, of course, we've had some horrific shunts down here. Jacques Villeneuve and Ralph Schumacher once again almost coming to mind there as well. Unfortunately, that race was marred with tragedy, wasn't it? Through turn 4 and turn 5 then. This is one of the 2 perilous corners on this circuit there. Jonathan very much sticking to the track there. All the times done in Q1 doesn't matter one iota now because the times have been wiped off. Jonathan is coming up to 9 and 10 there, just a few moments as he breaks out. It's there used to be a big old bump there right on the braking point. Of course, that was smoothed out quite a number of years ago, wasn't it? Coming up to 11 and 12 there as well. Of course, there's a very faint left-handed end. What is the intermediate 2 section time? It's a 48. Nice one there for Jonathan. Now it's he's invalidated this time, Jonathan has, and he's having to back off and go again there. So Jonathan there, that is disappointment there for Jonathan. Emerson is just on a lap at the moment as well. I think we're going to resume that lap with Mumford. So Mumford's taking over where Jonathan left off there. This is in the DRS zone as well. He didn't use the DRS in between turn 12 and 13 there, Mumford in, which is curious because I think he is on the hot lap, but he's also invalidated this time as well, Mumford has. Going into turn 14 then and going a bit too wide then. So actually we resume the lap with Matt now into turn 13, accelerates the way then. Look at this, Red Bull is as light as a feather now into turn 14. Ricardo had a big spin there, didn't they? And I think Coulthard's also smashed around there as well. Turn 15 then, the slowest quarter of the circuit. Now into turn 16 then, a bit of a feather in the throttle then. And we got a McLaren. I think we got a no, we haven't got a McLaren. Who have we got? Someone is recovering. It is a McLaren, and that is not good at all. There's Mr. Elite who's come a cropper. Matt has gone a second. No, he hasn't. Steve's gone fast on a 22.40, there. So Steve going onto the soft tires already. So Steve is not interested one iota in having to go on the medium tires just yet. Then so Steve right on the blocks there, just a front on a set of soft tires and going for it as well. Then Gunnar is gone at third fastest in the racing point tonight. Then the Irishman doing a cracking job there. Of course, the traditional green helmet there for Gunnar. That's his trademark. And I'm not sure if I think he was over the moon earlier on, but I didn't really catch the final Arsenal score. It was a cracking old game, wasn't it, between Arsenal and Everton? Personally, I would hope that Arsenal won, really, as being a Liverpoolian, really. I'm not saying. Young Rice goes fastest there. Young Rice is looking very much out for it tonight, isn't he? Good stuff indeed. Then, being a Liverpoolian, then I obviously would like to see Arsenal win. And I quite like Arsenal's kit this year as well, because that's how fickle I am. If I like someone's kit, then I hope they do well. That's why I like Leicester, really, because I love their pink kit. Oh, going over the rumble strips out, excuse me, good lord. And Conan's turn 13 now as well, Brandon is. And I think that we might have to censor that on the cut. As Brandon there is flying through turn 14, then coming into 15, then dropping down into second gear. Then look at that, tickling around the 50-mile-an-hour mark, accelerating away, and coming into DRS now as well. Boom, straight on the money then. And here he comes then. Let's see where Brandon can fit himself in this story. He fits himself on the on second position as it stands then. Good stuff there from Brandon. So we've gone 5.5 minutes into gone 5.5 minutes into the session there. We've got Young Lights there. We've got Brandon Stee in third position with Emerson fourth, Matt fifth, and Gunnar in sixth position, as unfortunately Droffer did catch what I said. So yeah, I'll go to stay away from that word from now on. Echo there is on track at the moment in the Alfa Romeo. I got to say, the Alfa Romeo team have been fantastic, haven't they? Echo in his handful of Grand Prix he's done in ALR has been absolutely superb, hasn't it? This will be his 10th start tonight, Echo. Gosh, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Echo towards the end of last season he made his debut, didn't he? He made his debut back in at USA of last season. Really been impressive, hasn't he? He's had a pole position in Brazil, one of the best laps you'll ever see. It was a Hulkenberg-esque lap, wasn't it? From Echo, and of course Hulkenberg also got his pole position in Brazil back in 2010. It was brilliant stuff as well, and he's had 2 podiums to his name, Echo has, and 2 drivers of the day as well in the 9 races. That's incredible, isn't it? As Echo there accelerating out of turn 13, and there's a car who is just off to the right hand side. Echo there very close there to cutting the corner there, shaving a bit of the grass off as well then. So Echo then out of turn 15 now as well, stamping on the loud pedal. You can see this corner, turn 16, is very frustrating to me. I want to go flat out, but if you go flat out, you'll probably do a cool for it and just bounce over the as Echo goes fifth fastest, and just bounce over the curb there, and really, as far as bounce over the curb as well, and probably end up in damaging your car and also invalidating your time, which is not good at all. Schumacher, I think, also had a big smash there in 2005, was it? I think 2005 was a bit of a horror show for Ferrari, wasn't it? I really liked 2005. It was a brilliant year for me. Of course, that was an unusual year for 2005, though, wasn't it? Of course, it was the year where you wasn't allowed to change tyres, which was interesting. An interesting development. Of course, Michelin got that spot on, didn't they? Unfortunately, Bridgestone really struggled, and Bridgestone only actually supplied three teams, didn't they, in that season? Which unfortunately come back to haunt them, didn't it? As of course, back in that infamous USA Grand Prix 2005, where only 6 cars circulated. And I sat there for the whole race because yeah, I don't know, I think it was just as Roscoe goes 6 fastest, Granty only 8 fast mode. He's on the hard tyre, Granty is, so I think there's more in the bag left. Mr. Elite there on a lap then, but Jonathan goes fastest on a 21.9 there. He's showing some impressive speed out there at the moment, even on the medium tyres. He's in the 21 side. That's just a second off of what he's doing on the soft tires. Good stuff indeed there. Nigel in the second sector as well. Mumford is on the soft tires, so no playing about for Mumford. He is on the second sector as well. Yellow flags are fluttering on 2 parts of the circuit, 2 parts of the course. We won't worry about that too much then. Lovely for all of you to be joining us tonight here in Australia, here in the land down under. Of course, it's been a difficult time for the country, hasn't it, with all the horrific forest fires and all that, but hopefully it's all going nicely now, isn't it? And Mumford there coming into the line. Mumford puts himself in the third fastest. The guy's on the soft tires. This is really interesting development, this is, isn't it? Oh, Nigel getting very waggy there, and his rear end was really he was wagging like a dog's tail there. Nigel coming into the line then, and he slots himself into 5th fastest. And then yeah, I think there's Nigel there would be disappointed at that. I think we just said Mr. Elite. I missed Mr. Elite. Well, I also missed him last week as well, but I also missed him coming across the line. Mr. Elite, he is in 8th fastest there for the McLaren. I think that's a bit that is quite dangerous, that is, for Mr. Elite. He might have to have another crack at that. Roscoe might have to have another crack in the qualifying session. Well, Matt has gone to soft tyres. Grant is coming back in at a very leisurely pace then, as I think that I'm surprised I'll be getting back quite quick, of course, as there'll be a lot of birthday celebrations in the Williams garage. I have no doubt about that. I think that Grant is a man that likes to party hard, doesn't he? At the moment then we've got a bit of a lull then, is So just watching Jonathan, who's on pole position. As we said earlier on, he will be joint with the most pole positions in a single season tonight with 5. That is held by Jochen. Of course, Jochen, of course, was the most pole sitters. Was the man who held the most pole positions up until last week, I think it was, where Jonathan stole that record already, and now Jonathan might equal that might equal Jochen's another record for Jochen tonight and go for 5 pole positions in a single season. But down in silver, I think Glock's already smashed that record, hasn't he? I think he's on 6 pole positions, hasn't he? No one's been on pole position apart from Glock in silver. Very, very. I gotta say that man's greedy, isn't he? He's been the measuring stick of silver, hasn't he? But I'd say in the midfield of silver has been absolutely brilliant, hasn't it? I got it's been electric, isn't it? I think I described it before. 2014. Remember, the Mercedes team were just so quick, but in the midfield, that was an absolutely cracking season, wasn't it? We had Red Bull, we had Ferrari, we had McLaren. We had a different team leading the midfield all the way through that season. It was brilliant stuff, wasn't it? Mumford there just coming back into the pits. He's currently third at the moment. 4 minutes to go in this qualifying session. So yeah, it's been a slow burner to start here tonight, but I'm loving the fact that you guys are all like sticking with me and watching. Listening to all kinds of weird and wonderful facts going on. Matt now coming through turn 5, and I gotta say that turn can be very perilous. Barrichello had a big old smash there in 2003. Mumford was retired from the session. That's an interesting one. I thought Mumford might have thought about having another crack because we got 4 minutes to go. He would have had enough tires to go out there and have another go, I'm sure of it. Fire shot is leaving it to the last minute. As cool as a cucumber, fire shot is, isn't he? And I think he's just probably just relaxing as well before he goes out in his hard set. I can imagine fire shot just relaxing with his feet up on the cockpit, really. Just sipping a margarita, which it was also National Margarita Day yesterday, as I found out on Twitter. I gotta say, I hats off to that. I did have a margarita. Even though I don't think it was a margarita, actually. I think it was a gin and tonic, actually. But they all taste the same after all, don't they? Anyway, Matt coming through the turn 16 there as well. Let's see what he can do then. He's on soft tires. He's gone very wide there, hasn't he? Not as wide as Coulthard in 2004. And he goes into fastest there, Matt does. Matt has thrown his hat right in the ring, and he is in. He's fastest so far. Good stuff for Matt. Farf is trying to sneak through on the hard compound tire. We've also got Brandon still out on the medium tires as well. It's going to get very hot now in this qualifying session. Then you can see we've got a bit of clouds bubbling up there. Oh, and Farf is in this time. He hasn't got enough fuel. Look, that fuel light's flashing there for Farf. That is going to be very much nip and tug. We'll keep an eye on Farf's progress. Steve has just started. Brandon is on track now. So let's see what Brandon can do. He's 2/10 of a second up in the Toro Rosso. As he's the lonesome Toro Rosso as well tonight. So flying the flag before they be called AlphaTauri, I think they're called now, not AlphaTauri. As he's purple in the first sector there. He's 2/10 up in the second sector. Yellow flag in 1. As we got a couple of cars having the slowest drag race going down to turn 3 on the map there on the right hand side. Breaking down into 4th gear. Going on the rumble strips there, and over the tarmac as well. I don't know what's going on tonight. Now coming into turn 15 then. Brandon is before accelerates away. The car looks a bit more planted there than Nigel's did. DRS right on the money then. Here comes Brandon up to the line. He needs to lower the post if he can, and he does. He's up for a faster mode. Mumford is slowly dropping down the order there. He's going to be feeling very nervous indeed. Here's a man who never feels nervous. Is Gunnar. He is flying through turn 5. Then Grant, he's also on the lap as well. Steve is, I think, was the closest man to the finish line. He was. Jonathan's retired from the session. Don't worry, that's just from Q2. Will he be through? I'm not sure about that. We'll find out in just a few moments' time then. Here he comes then, coming up to the line then. Farf is retired from the session. Farf is done. Farf is out. The Steve goes through faster, so he's improved himself there. But there are yellow flags just after where Gunnar was. He's 5/10 of a second up. Gunnar's. Oh no! He's in the wall! He's in the wall. He's gone straight on. If he does that in the race, it wouldn't be too bad. But Gunnar, I think, might be dead in qualifying. What a shame for the Irishman. Farshot has just started us up now. We also got Granty out on track then. So here comes Granty flying, coming up to the perilous turn 11 and 12. Then Ross goes out on track. Echo, Mr. Elite, Emerson, Nigel. It's a full house out out here. Fireshot is retired from the session. Fireshot is done as well. And he's down the back straight there. That's incredible for Fireshot. Fireshot will be 15th on the grid. He's going to be doing an awful lot of overtaking in the Haas Destroyer. What a shame there for Fireshot. Here comes Granty. Here's the champion. And he had a very difficult start to his ALR career here last season, didn't he? But he had a great comeback drive. I think he finished 4th in the end. DRS on the money once again. Here he comes onto the line. Is he going to improve on his 23? Indeed he does. 9/10 of a second better. There is a car at the distance there. I couldn't see who it was. I think they're just starting that. Roscoe is in 12th. Echo is on the cusp as well. Mr. Elite is the first one forward. I can see Nigel. Whoa, that's a Williams there. Just doing a bit of grass cutting there. Steve is 10 seconds down there, so I think Steve is done, and Grant there is doing his bit for the community there. Roscoe is coming through turn 12 as well then, and oh, he's a bit off the racing line there, Roscoe, so he's going to compromise his Yaz. Roscoe is done. Roscoe's out of qualifying as well. So can Echo come? Oh, and Mr. Elite is also invalidated this time as well. He's, oh my goodness me. And I got to say, that's a very that was definitely wagging its tail, wasn't it? Emerson in 9th position, Nigel in 8th position. I think always has to be on Echo now. Can Echo get through into Q3? Drop down to 4th gear, 90 miles an hour, accelerating away now. Now coming up to turn number 14, I think it is. It is 14. Breaking down the slowest part of your circuit, then accelerates away then. Final corner for Echo. Can he displace Mr. Elite? Mr. Elite's 2/10 of a second up the road then. We're on board with him now then, and let's see what he can do. Much better. Easy stuff there from Echo. He is through and into Q3 then. Is Emerson going to complete his lap then? Does he know that he's safe then? I think he is safe. There's a Nigel there. Has damaged his front wing there, hasn't he, Nigel? But Nigel, even with damage his front wing, he's got fat. He's on the soft tyres. Emerson's on the medium tyres. We got a mixed bag for the qualifying for the race. Brilliant stuff. Emerson moves up into 4th position as well. Then good stuff there for Emerson. Nigel is at fastest for Q2 then. Well done to Nigel in the racing point. Brilliant stuff there. The man who, of course, has already won a race this season. And has won a race in every single season he's participated in, and the only other man to do that actually in ALR is Jonathan as well. So yeah, I've got to say I love these records. They really keep me entertained throughout the early hours of the morning. As Jonathan saying, like watching 2 Reliant Robins there, and we've also got Harry, of course. Harry there is also saying great save there from Mr. Elite, and I think one of Matt's biggest fans. I have no doubt about that. And I think he's also watching Roscoe and Steve as well. As I've almost lost my voice there. Getting knocked out of Q2 is a Fireshot. Gunnar out qualifying as well there. Unfortunately, Fireshot and Gunnar didn't really have a second bite of the cherry there, did they? Farf in a 13th position there, and once again, Farf really hasn't helped his course there, as he didn't really get a good time in. Roscoe in 12th position, and Mr. Elite just outside the top 10. And the top 10, look at that. 4 soft compound runners and 6 medium compound runners. Good stuff indeed then. As we're now going through into qualifying 3. As Harry says, he's only here to see Matt crash. Wouldn't say I'm a fan. So as we get ready for Q3 then. Matt is one of the men in Q3. As we've also got Zach saying, quick left right is dangerous. It is very dangerous indeed, isn't it? Turn 12. So I've met my demise there a lot of times. So yeah, it's not great as well. Remember, I'm not talented by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not even talented to know what the difference between a margarita and a gin and tonic is. Right, we're a couple of seconds into Q3. We are ready to get going as well. Of course, that's Forza. Zach is. I'm glad he's reminded me of that. I'm really rubbish with people's names. And look at that grey cloud overhead there. I gotta say, it's very overcast here in Australia. We mentioned before about the rain-affected qualifying sessions. Remember, 2013 was a nightmare, wasn't it? Also, 2014 as well. The first ever qualifying session in the hybrid era, and it was a bit of a wet one, wasn't it? I just remember like watching it in the early hours of the morning and realising how quiet these cars were. But as much as people was really disappointed by how quiet the cars were, it was great to actually hear the crowd go wild about Ricardo, wasn't it? It was brilliant as well. That Ricardo time came out of nowhere. It was fantastic stuff, wasn't it? Really enjoyed that. As we're just focused on Emerson at the moment, but he's not the first man on track. That will be the Williams and Granty, as Grant there is just coming into the second section now then. So we have got a couple of cars out on track. We have 7 on track. We have 3 in the pits. That is Echo, Matt and Nigel then. So so there it goes. We're coming out in just a few moments. I'm on board with Granty then. So this qualifying free session, they all have at least one set of new soft tyres. How do I know that? I have not gone to the garage and peeked to see what is under those blankets. We know that because that is the rule that came into place a couple of years ago in the real world of Formula 1, which is a fantastic rule, isn't it? Because these teams that used to sneak through into Q3 in the mid 2010s, you just didn't go out, did they? Because they used up their all their soft tyres. Teams like Force India and things like that just used up all their soft tyres and then just sat there in the garage, and that's a waste, isn't it? A waste of it should be a top 10 shootout, shouldn't it? We will hopefully have a top 10 shootout here. As Grant, we're just watching now, of course, as we said, the birthday boy and the champion. It's good to be Granty, isn't it? We're on board the rocket now as he is flying through turn 4. As the track is fairly busy, but Granty is out there quite early on, so to avoid any yellow flags or any smashes and bashes that will happen in this qualifying session, I have no doubt about that, because flying through turn 5 and turn 12, however, like car, when you're on the edge of amnesia, it is incredible stuff indeed, and I don't think that's the right word, is it? I think amnesia is when you forget stuff, so that is not the right word at all. I need to get out the dictionary. Coming through turn 12 as well. Look how close he was to the barrier, Grant. I thought he was going to kiss it, but indeed he did it there, going over the curb before coming into turn 13. I love the over-the-shoulder shots, by the way. It's incredible, isn't it, to see the cars and to see what they're doing on the steering wheel, isn't it? They're not just drivers, they're also high-speed engineers as they fly through turn 14. And my goodness me, putting a bit of the gravel as well through turn 15. Look how dull it's got out there. I gotta say, I think we're going to have a sprinkle of rain, and I hope not, because you guys have been very patient tonight, and I think we want to continue on the action there, didn't we? Granty's on a 21-1 so far. Good stuff there for the champion. Brilliant. Emerson, the man who's and he's done a cool fart there. He's shaved off a bit of the grass. He comes up to the line. He's on pole position at 20.9 for Emerson there. Brilliant stuff indeed there from the Mercedes driver. What about his teammate? Here's Mumford there flying through, and that's a better exit from the Mercedes car, and he is on a 21.8 there. These times are ramped up beautiful. Here comes Young Lights. I think Young Lights just start. No, he's on pole position by 0.2 of a second. Matt is just starting us up in the background as well. We have also got a Toro Rosso. I think it is Brandon who has gone into full fastest there so far. I'm not sure. Did I see a sprinkling of rain there? So I'm keeping my eyes peeled there. I think I'm just seeing things there. Matt just starts out. Here comes Steve out to 5th fastest there for the Haas driver. Good stuff there from Steve. Brilliant indeed then. As he is in 5th fastest at the moment then. We've also got Matt just on that then. Nigel starts out there. Let's go on board there with Matt then as he breaks down. The good thing about having an overcast day now is that you've lost all those shadows, haven't you? So it's not that it's easier than as a month gets out of the way there. It's easier to spot your breaking point, isn't it? Of course, under the trees, I think it's probably very distracting as well, but of course these guys are experts, aren't they? As Gunnar said, you jinxed me, Sean, stay off me in the future, will ya? I can't remember what I said actually. But all we know is that Gunnar was unfortunately in the wall at turn 13. He did his best impression of Gutierrez, didn't he? Down into turn 13, then yellow flags is fluttering for I hope it for Nigel. Nigel is carrying on there. There's the Haas there. Matt is continuing. He's got his teammate in front of Young Lights, who is the man who's on personal pole. We haven't even had Jonathan's first effort. So yeah, we still got all to play for them. Matt coming out of the follow turn. Let's see what he can do there. The time is ticking down. He's at a 20-21. He's in 5th position. Matt is at the moment. Good stuff indeed for the Red Bull driver. Where's Nigel? Here he is then. And look, there's a Mercedes getting out of the way as well. Nigel there flying through 14 then. Coming into 15 then. That's neat and tidy there from Nigel. Beautiful stuff indeed. 36 car number is in the racing point. Let's see what he can do then. He's coming up to the line. Has he got third fast at the moment there? Nigel has said so. He's third. If we got 3 cars in the 20s, good stuff. That's Lights, Emerson and Nigel. I've got to say, Lights is showing some impressive qualifying time at the moment. Brilliant stuff as well. Here comes Echo coming up to the line. Echo then. Let's see what he can do. Echo does a 22 at the moment. He is the slowest of the runners that have set a time as thus far. I know Jonathan just starting his lap now then. So, let's take stock then. Just under halfway through this qualifying session. Lights is on pole position. That was his first ever pole position in ALR. If he stays there, he's got another 50 minutes. He's got another 5 minutes and 50 seconds. Emerson is alongside on row 1. Emerson has 2 pole positions, albeit one is under dubious circumstances, of course, where he inherited pole position away from Fisher. But I do count that as a pole position, I think. Yeah, whether I just make up the rules as I go along. Emerson, Nigel is in 3rd position with Granty in 4th. It's a champions second row then, brilliant. Then we got Brandon and Matt 5th and 6th, and also we got Steve and Mumford 7th and 8th, and then we got 2 Alpha Males 9th and 10th. But Jonathan is on his lap now. Lovely shot here, and wow, look at that. Of course, Maradona had a big old smash there, didn't he? I think he's the only one that has ever crashed around there, isn't he? Of course, back in 2012 when he was having a good old scrap there with Fernando Alonso, I think he was. Of course, that was signs of things to come, really, wasn't it? Of course, they had a brilliant battle there in Spain 2012 where Maldonado won that incredible Spanish Grand Prix. It was fantastic stuff. Anyway, that's yesteryear. Jonathan is here and now. He is on a lap then. Can he get the pole position? The target time is a 20.7. He could go quicker. He's been quicker around this circuit already over the course of the weekend. Can he do it again here tonight then? Here he comes down into turn 15 then. Lovely again, neat and tidy, just like Nigel. I thought he carried more speed then. This is the last corner. DRS rather money, then he's still got the deployment, then he's just pushing the car to the line. It's pole position by 2/10 of a second from Young Lights. Wow, good time there from Jonathan, going for his 5th pole position of the season, his 7th of his career. Good stuff from Jonathan so far then. Brilliant indeed then. So he's extending his pole position record. This man in qualifying on single lap pace is unstoppable at the moment, isn't he? Remember last season he only had 2 pole positions last season, didn't he? So that was quite a surprising statistic, considering the fact. Remember that in other leagues he's been absolutely fantastic, hasn't he, in qualifying? But yeah, he's really on the money this season, isn't he? That is his 5th pole position. If he gets there, and we've got 9 cars who wants to stop him. Now, that is Lights, Emerson, Nigel, Granty, Brandon, Matt, Steve, Mumford, and Echo. As I'm just taking a breather because I think that this is going to be a very oops, sorry. A very that's what you get for trying to eat and talk at the same time there. Yeah, of course. That's my second favourite thing. Apart from Formula 1, I also love eating. It's Brandon going over the curb then. And he is just coming through turn 5 then. Yeah, we have got, so as it stands, Brandon's the first man out on track. We've got 3 minutes to go. Jonathan is cutting very tight. And remember, we've got 180 seconds left in this session. A fast lap around here is 1 minute and 20 seconds. I think that you have to add an extra 20 seconds on something like that. Well, probably not that extreme actually, but you do need a bit of time to go up. I think Jonathan should. My goodness me, Brandon there, getting very close to the barrier. Did he? Oh, I think he's got end plate damage, has he? Let's take a look. No, he's alright. I'm just seeing things. And Brandon is on his way. Sorry. As I am now learning my lesson not to have a Pringle on there. As now Brandon, then here he goes, and you can see that. So he's done all the he's on the outlap. He's come out quite early actually. No one else is on track. But the only problem with this is because he's slightly out of sync. He might come up to cars coming out on track. We've got a Red Bull out on track of Lights already. We've also got a Stee out as well in the Haas. We've got an Alfa Romeo coming out on track. We can see on the right hand side track map Brandon on board with Nanan as a brilliant. Oh my goodness me! And that's and Brandon there invalidated this time. He had it, and you can see that he is. I think that's frustration, isn't it, for Brandon there? As I wonder if that car coming out the pits there just flew him off the just flew him off his breaking point, off his vision of where he wanted to brake where he wanted the car to brake there. But Brandon there unfortunately has no time to come back, and he will be in 6th position then. So that's a shame there for Brandon. It really is, because we wanted to see what his utmost pace was in this event here tonight, but we have been robbed of that. So that's a shame, that is, as we're just waiting. I think we've got a Haas there, Steve, who's going to be the next man out on track now. And indeed he is then. And look at that then. That over the cloud cover's gone then. The track temperature's starting to creep up again. Here we go then. It's like it's written in the stars, isn't it, for what it's going to be an absolutely fantastic end to qualify. Unfortunately, we've lost Brandon. The highest is going to be his 6th position. Let's see, he can find an awful lot of time without those end plates on board with Steve then. So Steve is now going to have another crack at the whip, isn't he? A minute to go then. Here we go. This is all or nothing now for Steve in the Haas and accelerates now turn 2. DRS available on this short straight then. Coming down into turn 3, dropping down into 4th gear, 3rd gear for Steelers, hovering around, and 2nd gear, hovering around 60 miles an hour there for the Haas driver. Flicking it through, turn 5, and wow, look at that, that's incredible car control, isn't it, from Steve? And now you can see the shallows about out there. Well, I was talking about the shallows earlier on, wasn't I? About how difficult it is to spot your braking point. Yellow flag in 3 then, and that is one of the Alfa Romeos are just cruising at the moment. We got every single car out on track, so we've got 9 cars going for pole position. Let me adjust myself because this is going to be a frantic end to qualifying. And the time in the top left hand corner, it's got 16 seconds left on the timer. Of course, you can start your lap after as long as you can finish your lap as long as you start it. And at the moment, we're just waiting for Nigel to start it. We're just waiting for Jonathan. Jonathan is started it now. And what about Mumford? Mumford is too far away. I don't think Mumford's going to get through. He isn't going to get through. I think Mumford's out of qualifying. It's not out of qualifying, so to speak. So Mumford's finished well. Brandon is retired from the session. The highest is going to be a 6th position. What about Steve? He's the first one. Oh, he's gone very wide in turn 16 on it. Very deceiving that turn is. Mumford is finished. Steve goes into. He's lost a bit of time now. We've got Lights coming through. Lights is a 10th of a second up. Then he's hugging the final turn now. I think he's run out of fuel, has he? He has in the last sector. He really slowed down the back straight there. Oh, yeah, he ran out of fuel, unfortunately. Echo then, he's done a 22.3 at the moment. I think there's more time in the bag for Echo. Let's see what he can do then. The man who's on pole position in Brazil last season. Can he throw his name back in the hat then? We're on board with Echo in the Alfa Romeo. There is the time. Where is he? He's in 6th fastest then. Brandon 7th then. Good 17. We got a red ball of Matt coming up to the line now. He's 2 tenths of a second up. That should pull him back into 6th. It's even better. It's 5th position. Ground T is only 6th on his birthday. I think too much of the bubbly. Emerson is in 2nd position and he's on the front row with Jonathan. Is anyone going to be able to stop Jonathan? Nigel can't. Nigel Devane his time and he is also out of qualifying. Jonathan is on pole position for the Australian Grand Prix, but he's going to cement it, I think. Let's see. He has indeed. It's another fastest time there from Jonathan and he's on pole position for the 5th time this season. 5 times on pole position in 7 races. Absolutely splendid stuff. That is his 7th pole position of his career as well. Well, that's a good start to qualifying, isn't it? Look how close Emerson was there. Wow, Emerson, I've got to say, of course, he's only been on pole position twice in his career, but he's been on the front row a couple of times, hasn't he? And once again, now look how close he was to getting his third pole position this season in his career. 48 hundredths of a second separates the 2 guys on the front row. Young Light's in 3rd position now. Can he get some decent points? He's only got 2 so far, which doesn't match up to the caliber of the man, does it? Nigel in 4th. Matt and Grant 5th and 6th. Echo and Brandon 7th and 8th. Steve and Mumford 9th and 10th then. Sorry, I've knocked my headset off there. Right, we're coming into the race now then. Let's quickly catch up on the comments, shall we then, before we get into the nitty gritty stuff of the race. Lights are saying I was at 1.6 tenths up and went on the grass there. Oh, that's why he was so. I thought he ran out of fuel, so I did put 2 together with 101. So that's a shame. That's a shame there for Lights. But he was. That would have been. I think that would have been enough to steal pole position. Actually, incredible stuff there. We've also got Lights saying hopefully I could do good in the race there. Yes, we did. We just mentioned about Young Lights having a bit of a difficult start to his ALR career this season, isn't he? Of course, he only got 2 points, which I did say was. Which really doesn't measure up to what performances does, especially in Hungary. Hungary was fantastic, wasn't it? Of course, he did retire when he was out of the points, but he was on the perfect strategy, wasn't he? And I reckon that I bet my bottom dollar that he would have been wow within the points there. So time is now ticking down then, so we're getting ready for the race. Of course, we've got 16 cars here tonight, unfortunately. As a far shot is just to put in the ALR Discord. that he was invalidated whilst on track there, which is actually new and on me. That tickled me, that did. That's why I read it out. It's just taking a quick look. Then we'll be getting ready to go in just a few minutes' time. Then, and you know, looking forward to this one. This one's going to be a good one. Australia usually produces some cracking races, don't it? Over the course of the last couple of years in real Formula One, though, it hasn't really been the best race to watch, has it? But I'm thinking about the race in. The race in 2010 was a cracker, wasn't it? 2013 I've really enjoyed as well. We also had a cracking race in 97, 98 as well. The controversy of the McLarens there, where Coulthard to let Hakkinen through after Hakkinen came back in the pits. Unusual as well. 99, I really enjoyed 99. Of course, Eddie Irvine's first win for Ferrari, wasn't it? An unusual race that was. We had a lot. And Emerson's left the session. That is a huge blow for Emerson. He has left the session already in this race. He needs to get back in as quickly as possible. As I'm getting too excited. Let me quickly go through the grid there. We're almost halfway through the lap already then. On pole position for the 7th time in his career is Jonathan. 5 times this season. 5 times. As I'm almost doing my Booker T impression there. Second is Emerson, but he's not in the race at the moment. He needs to get back in the car quickly. Third position is Lightser in the Red Bull, and good time there for Lightser. Fantastic. Fourth is Nigel. Matt is in 5th position. Granty, the champion, is in 6th. And well, I think he'd be happy to see Emerson there dropping down the order, wouldn't he? Echo in 7th position, and 8th position is Brandon, 9th is Steve, 10th position is Mumford, 11th is Mr. Elite, 12th is Roscoe, 13th is Farf. Remember, he won the race last season. Gooner in 14th position, but I'm not going to compliment him because he seems to end up in the wall. 15th position is Fireshot, and Sam in 16th position. Then Jonathan coming through there. We've got 29 laps around this incredible Australian Grand Prix. As we're now, this is where the tension builds. This is where it gets nervous, doesn't it? I get nervous just for these guys. I'm sure I wonder how these guys are feeling. They're on board with Sam, who is in 16th position. And Emerson hasn't got back in the car yet, and we're almost going through to start this race. Remember, last season I missed the start of the race, of course, with that new league system, so I didn't have a clue what was going on, but which is usually I had a good excuse that day. I usually don't know. Right, just taking a quick look. Yeah, of course, Forza saying that 2007 was well good at changing conditions on button P1. 5 sets of lights are on. And where we go, Emerson has had a fantastic start, but he's not in the race set. Now Emerson is joined in. Oh dear, this is controversy of the highest caliber. Now a go, and Jonathan leads. The second is the light set as they come down in turn 1. Then they succeed. How is everyone going in there in turn 1? It's we got a bit of bumping and grinding going on there. That's Roscoe who's lost the front ring. Jonathan leads. Second position is Nigel is coming up alongside Lightset. We're just watching far. We've got Roscoe, Farshot, Gooner, Sam, and Mr. Elite who's on the pole inside. Emerson is flying away at the moment. Nigel is second. Then we've got Young Lights in third position with Matt in fourth. Fantastic stuff. Granty in 5th position. They come through turn 5. Look at them all flying through turn 5. Oh, Favre is on the grass in the Ferrari. Then they drop him down into turn 5. Now is I'm waiting to see when Emerson comes on track. And it's going to be difficult for Emerson to try and feed himself back in there, isn't he? As Simon's down in 60th position, but both McLarens and Emerson still hasn't gotten to his car. So yeah, the guys at the front end. So Emerson there is just going to be reeled in. Mr. Elite and Gooner, Mr. Elite and Gooner. Oh, a bit of clout there. And now we're on board with Sam there. And I thought Sam was going to go into the side of the McLaren, to the force. It didn't know it's a racing point as they come through turn 15. Yellow flag. That's Steve. Steve is in the wall. Steve has a problem around there, doesn't he? And he seems to always end up in the wall there. Unfortunately, Steve has, and he's damaged the front wing. Emerson there, who's he hasn't in the car yet. He needs to get in the car pronto, doesn't he? As we got to say, Emerson's had the best start of his career, of his season so far, isn't he? That one completed. Jonathan leads there. Jonathan has not, I don't think. Let me just check the stats. He hasn't won a race yet, has he? This is a perfect opportunity for Jonathan to stay. Nigel second. Lights in third position. Fourth position is Matt. Then is Emerson is floating there. Can Emerson get back in the session? That's the question now. Then you can see a bit of debris falling from the tree. Then fifth position is Granty. Emerson is down in sixth position. He's still dropping down the order. Emerson needs to get back in the car pronto. Not Brandon through. Emerson is dropping down now. His teammates in front of him as well. We got a great old battle behind. We got a brilliant battle behind between Fireshot and Mr. Elite. Fireshot and Mr. Elite banging wheels as they fly out of turn 5. And his Fireshot is going over the back of him. He's coming up the inside into turn 6. He's through. Brilliant stuff. Passes the McLaren and moves up into 12th position. Excellent stuff, Ben, from Fireshot. Lovely done there. Oh, Echo! My goodness me! And oh dear, here. That is, wow, we ain't even on the watershed yet, guys. Close your eyes. This is absolutely outrageous as they come through. Turn that 11 now, as hopefully Emerson will get out from the rear. Oh my goodness me. Let's just I think Emerson's back in the race. He is back in the race. So good stuff for Emerson there. Hopefully he hasn't damaged the car, but he's come back in the race in the thick of it. But okay. We'll leave them to do their thing for the minute, and we'll come back to that a bit later on, because I can't. Coming through the complete lap 2 then. Jonathan leads. Nigel's in second position. Third position is Young Lights. Young Lights there is who's been impressive so far as the in the course. Well, Hungary is fantastic, wasn't he? Into the pits there comes Steve. Steve is almost 31 seconds back at the moment. Joris has been enabled then, so we're going to see some overtaking maneuvers. Our onboard Gunnar then, and Sam is probably going to be feeling the hot breath of Gunnar as they come into turn number 1 then. Emerson then, as Emerson and Echo worked out the differences. Farf is going up the inside. Oh, we've had contact. Farf is forcing Echo out wide. We're on board of Emerson. Emerson again there is. I am looking at all kinds of stuff going on here. But I gotta say, this is the closest battle track mode. But once again, then they merge together. Then I gotta say, I think it might be a new car design here. And oh dear. Anyway, moving on then. Farf is 8th position. 9th position is Echo. Emerson is somewhere in there as well. 10th position then. And this is getting very hair and scare. Farf is back on the inside. Echo is on the outside, and Emerson is through. Emerson is back into 8th position. Now he's going to go on Farf. Farf is on the outside. Echo is going to go on the inside. We're having a look then. Oh my goodness me! And they are all going to fit through this corner, are they? Wow! No, they don't. Ferrari, and Echo off the track there. Damage for Echo. Farf, who won the race last season, damaged the nose cone of the car, and he's going to have to come back in the pits. So that's a shame there. As gap at the front is incredible. As Droffa has asked, is this PG or 18 rated? Well, virtual safety car. We do pride ourselves on the clean product, guys. But yeah, so close your eyes for that one, because that was R rated. As we've got a virtual safety car, and it's everyone has to adhere to a speed limit now. Of course, everyone has to adhere to a delta. They have to decrease their speed by 40%. Then Echo's in the pits. Farf is in the pits as well. As we get going, of course, Tooney just said Peggy 18. Yeah, this is not a Peggy 3 anymore, guys. It's a Peggy 18. We've also got Forza saying as well that they're mounting one another. This is F1. We're back racing, and Nigel's caught Jonathan out of the way, and so we've got 3/10 of a second. The gap is between Nigel and Jonathan, and this is going to be a cracking battle, isn't it, for the lead then. We have also got battles up and down the field. Echo and Farf are still in the pits, and yellow flag at one. Sam is gone. Where's he gone? He's gone out of turn 5. I think he's gone where Barry Keller's gone off the track. And that's a shame for Sam. I thought there were some real big points on the board, on the horizon here for Sam today, but unfortunately the McLaren driver is out of the race already in this race, so that's a shame. Look, that's right in the middle of the track then, and I thought that'd be a safety car personally, and that would have been music to the ears of Echo and Farf. And Steve as well, sorry, and Roscoe. Well, to us, a bit music to the ears for anyone who's just coming to the pits early then. Look at that, the queue behind Lights at the moment. Lights is really struggling to keep up with the front runners, certainly, as Jonathan come around the final turn, and it looks like Nigel has got more race pace at the moment in time. We're on board then with the Season 1 champion. He is going for it. He's having a look. But Jonathan there not budging one iota, but he's got on the grass. He might have. Oh, and Nigel there. My goodness me, getting very tail hoppy. Remember, he's on the soft tires. Jonathan's on the medium tires. I forgot to mention that as I come down into turn 5. Nigel's gone off the track. He is oh no, he's going to come back on the track in front of the Red Bull. Nigel there has overshot turn 3, and he is unfortunately lost almost 2 seconds because of that one mistake there. And behind Lights is absolutely incredible. Nigel needs to get himself composed and back on it. Lights on the medium tires, soft tires for Matt. Granty is on the medium tires, as is Brandon. Then we've got soft tires for Mumford. Emerson on the medium tires. Emerson back in the race, but unfortunately because of the issues he had with connection at the start, he's really been put on the back foot there. Well, that's a shame there for Emerson, really is, isn't it? Now with Lights there is all over the back then. We've got Roscoe and Farf battling away as well in the background. I thought the Lights was going straight on there. We've got a bit of lag going on, I think, from Lights then. So Yeah, I thought he was going straight on. Then as we're just. Oh, look at the background. That's a Williams. As Grant there defending from Brandon. This is a cracking battle, isn't it? I'm loving this battle. And we got Mumford and Farshot is out sneaking his way through the field as well. Fantastic stuff from Farshot in the half stand. Good stuff, Ben. So Jonathan has now got a bit of breathing space, and I think that Nigel felt he needed to get the move done quite quickly by the sounds of it. As he had a bit of a wild lunch there. Mumford's in the pits already on the soft tires as they come through to complete lap 5, and this is Lionel Stern at the moment, isn't it? Let's see what. He's got damage to the front wing car 29 in the Mercedes, and so he is put on a set of medium compound tires and should be away. Everyone knows by now that anyone that watches this race watches the channel quite regularly knows that I am rubbish with strategy calls. But I'm medium tires get to the end from there. I think that's a big ass, that is. He could. But I'm sure he's gonna. I think he'll have to come back in the pits. He's dropped down to 12th position. Mumford has. Echoes moved up to 12th position. Back on board with Granty, who is in a 5th position at the moment. And he is keeping tabs there with Matt at the moment. Matt is on the soft tires. Matt would like to go by his teammate quickly as possible, really, because now the soft tires have probably lost their edge, so to speak, haven't they? So they're going to be struggling with the pace there, aren't they? So I think that Matt would be a bit disappointed where he is at this current moment in time. But who knows? Because he might have an absolutely brilliant strategy up his sleeve, and this might be a part of the plan. We're on board with Matt now. It's sported a beautiful new red helmet there as well. Fantastic stuff. He is flying through turn 14 now as well. Lights there. He's got a problem with his connection there, hasn't he? He's got the dreaded signal bars there, hasn't he? So Matt is in the pits then. So Matt is coming in the pits then, and I think this is actually one of our first scheduled stops then, isn't it? So he has to slow down to 60 kph then. Red Bull mechanics, there they are. Look at that, they're just coming out now. So they're so well drilled then, and he is going on to the medium compound. No, yeah, I think he's on the soft, is he? He is on the soft tire still. So Matt is definitely going for a 2-stop strategy here. Remember the tire rules. You have to use 2 types of the compounded tires. That's why Matt has now committed himself to a 2-stop strategy. Jonathan now has got a 5.5 second gap at the front there from Nigel, who's second. Third position is Lights with fourth is Granty, 5th is Brandon. Emerson is the second back in 6th position. Fireshot is in 7th position. Mr. Elite 8th. Gooner in 9th position. 10th position is Matt at the moment. And Lights is past. He's past Nigel and moved up into 10th position now. Nigel is, oh my goodness me, he's giving a push there. Giving a proper road. Look at that diffuse there. It's Lights that just jumps in front then. So I think Nigel's probably going to have to go in the pits, and the soft tires are out of range already then here in this race. And so it looks like the soft tires going to last a couple of laps then, probably about 8-9 laps maximum. And that's that. So Nigel has to go in the pits. I think Granty is under all kinds of pressure now from Brandon. Yellow flag and free because that's a McLaren. That's Mr. Elite who's off the track there. And is he damaged the car? He has. I don't think he hasn't. He hasn't damaged the car. I got to say that would be absolutely good car control there from Mr. Elite, because usually when you crash there, that is usually it there, isn't it, for your front wing? But Mr. Elite doing a fantastic job there in the McLaren then. Into the pits there comes Nigel there. So Nigel is coming into the pits then for the Racing Point team there. Let's take a look to see what tires is going on. There's the Racing Point team now, going to be known as Aston Martin from 2020. He is on the medium compound tires, car 36s. He's in and out. Mr. Elite is now coming under pressure there from Gooner. On board with Gooner. He's in 9th for this remote. Make that 8th. Make that 7th. He's coming up the inside. I thought he was going to go the inside. Oh, he's overshot turn 1 there, and he's going to have to go back. Matt is stolen the march on Nigel. He is through, and that is an undercut, isn't it? That's a good undercut there from Matt. He is past Nigel, and I think as it stands, he would also get in front of Young Lights at the moment, I believe. Remember, Young Lights is going to be on a longer strategy here because, of course, he's on the medium tires. I don't remember retirement. Well, that is Sam. Unfortunately, Sam had a qualifying ban, and then he didn't really have much. He didn't really turn much at corners in the race there either, as he retired after only 4 laps in this race. So that's a shame now for Sam. But disappointed as a Brandon there, got to say, doing a very good job to straight line there. Emerson is back on it there, isn't he? Of course, he's on the back foot because of the connection issues right at the beginning, but now he is now back in the race. Jonathan at the moment's got a 3.2 second gap at the front there, hasn't he? When Jonathan's in this kind of mode, in this kind of mood, he is definitely very difficult to beat, isn't it? Remember Hungary last season? Not the Hungary just gone. The last season Hungary Grand Prix, it was Hamilton-esque, wasn't it? And once again, he's now got a 3.3 second gap. And now Emerson is gaining on Brandon. He is alongside Brandon. He is past Brandon. He has moved up into 4th position. Fireshot just in the background in 6th position at the moment then. And also got Gooner, who is keeping tabs as well then on the on Mr. Elite as well. Look at the background. There's Matt, and then in the background from Matt is also Nigel as well. Matt is the meat in the Force India sandwich, or Racing Point sandwich I should say, as they keep changing their names, so it's just going to get worse and worse, isn't it? By the time I get used to the Racing Point, I'm going to be they're going to be Aston Martin, aren't they? So Gunnar is now going to be coming under the cosh, isn't he, from Matt, as Matt has gone on soft tyres. Again, a very dull day here in Australia, isn't it? We do love a bit of the sunshine in Australia, but I'm thinking about Gunnar there going on the curb, and he's going to lose a bit of momentum there. Matt is going to be, he's on the soft tyres as well, so he's going to be quicker at this stage than Gunnar. Is he going to sneak up the inside? No, Gunnar is having none of that, isn't he? And Gunnar is away in 8th position there. Fantastic stuff from the Irishman. Brandon has got a qualified button. No, that's a bit harsh, isn't it, for qualifier? He's got a 3-second penalty. Oh, who is that? That's Nigel. Nigel, where did he come from? Oh, they're squeezing. Oh my goodness me! They were so close to the barrier. Martin's just giving him a car's width, just an F1 car's width, and Nigel is going on the outside. That is spectacular. That is incredible. That is beautiful from Nigel. Fantastic overtake. He just come up from nowhere, Nigel did. Wow, gotta say, that is the ultimate opportunist there, Nigel. It's brilliant stuff indeed there. And he is now through past Gunnar and moves up into it. Gunnar's there, got wrong foot there. He's lost 2 positions from that series of corners there. Wow, Nigel, that is incredible. Into the pits, there comes Mr. Lee. He's done 8 laps on those soft tyres. That's the most of anyone that started on those tyres. Now then, Nigel, he's got a bit clear out, and let's see what he can do then in the Pink Panther. Can he now put the pressure on Jonathan and Young Lights at the front then? But what a move there from Nigel. Wow, of course, remember last season we did the overtake of the season. I think that might be put in the top 3 there straight away. I got to say, I got to make a mental note of that, because that might be mine. Might be my pick. Brilliant stuff indeed then. Back at the front then, Jonathan's got a 3.8-second lead then, so once again he's just steadily, as Mr. Lee and Roscoe are battling away at the back. And there they are then, so yeah, look at this. Steve is also on the back of Mr. Lee as well. Mr. the battle for 40 with 50 position up the inside. Steve goes, and he's on the medium tyres and medium tyres there for Mr. Lee. And no, yeah, Mr. Lee's on the hard tyres. I got that completely wrong. Medium tyres will see he is through and up into 40 position there. But Mr. Elite there is trying to come back at him going into turn 6. Then we're keeping on that battle, because I think this is the battle you guys want to see there, isn't it? Into the pits comes that Young Lights. Only 9 laps on those medium tyres. That's an in. I'm wondering then if he's rolling the dice. Actually, that might be a strategical call there for Lights. Well, it probably is. But yeah, he's coming in the pits then after only 10 laps there on the medium tyres. That's an interesting development, isn't it? Lap 11 on 29 then. Well, I felt like I've already done the whole race here. It's incredible stuff, isn't it, here in Australia? Grant, he's up to 2nd then. 3rd is Emerson. Then we got Brandon in 4th position. Fireshot is now starting to really put the hammer down, hasn't he, in the Haas? Fireshot has had a very difficult start to his ALR season, hasn't he? But I remember this man's had a pole position. He's also had a win in ALR as well, hasn't he? Oh, and I thought he was going there. Wow, Howard, sir. Brilliant stuff from Fireshot there. I thought he was going to see the accident there, and I got to say, I do love the dark blue and purple there. That's a cracking mix of helmet colours there, isn't it? Emerson's now starting to really put the pinch there on his championship rival Grant there, isn't he? Because Grant, he keeps keep just hammering out these results there at this stage of the season. We're only on round 7, but he's already got a 24-point lead, which in terms of the point structure at the moment, that is quite a lead to cut down. Now you need a bit of DNFs there and a bit of luck. Emerson is going to try and force the issue. He is on the outside. He's going to swoop on the outside, and Grant is on the inside. That's a magnificent move from Emerson. Brilliant stuff. He takes 2nd position there, but Grant is coming back up on the inside. That is a fantastic, magnificent manoeuvre there from Granty. No, from Emerson, I should say. Oh, but now Grant is coming back out. Now look at the understeer there. That's the dirty air from the car in front. Fantastic manoeuvre there from Emerson. We got 2 overtakes this season. Now there's Grant having a look there, but Emerson there not getting faced. And Fireshot is having the 4th position as well, and he passes up Brandon. Remember, Brandon won the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, didn't he, last season? So both these guys have got 1 win apiece, haven't they? That's the caliber of drivers. Yellow flag. Mumford is out of the race. That's Mumford's first retirement in ALR, and he has gone at it's got an unusual part of the race, actually. It's in turn... Oh, it's not just got a penalty as well. So Mumford is retired from the race, and we've lost Simon Mumford out of the race on lap 12. What a shame for Mumford. And yeah, that's a big blow for Mumford, actually. That is, because he's up till that point he's been very good in terms of results, hasn't he? So that's Mumford. Of course, this is Mumford's 3rd start. He hadn't had no retirements from what I recall. Oh yes, he had a DNF. No, he hasn't. Well, he did have a DNF, didn't he? But he still scored points there. So that's a shame there for Mumford. Out of the race, and what a... Whoa! And who is that? Steve there, very close to the back of Roscoe there. And that would have woke me up. That definitely would have woke up Steve as well. Mr. Elite is not too far behind. There he is. He's just under a second back at the moment. Let's take stock of the race then, shall we? Lap 12. Jonathan leads by almost 5 seconds, but he's got a new challenger of Emerson. Emerson is just overtaking Granty, but Granty is not having any of it at the moment, is he? But he's struggling to keep up with Emerson at the moment. And second and third position, Brandon comes into the pits. He's just been overtaken by Fireshot, so he is just rolling the dice. Brandon is, and let's see where that is going to put him. Echo is, of course, coming back from the field. Echo has done 8 laps on the soft tires. Remember, he had damage early on, and he is just throwing a set of soft tires to see where he can make himself up. Well, he's up into 10th position at the moment, but he's in the pits as well. Then, so into the pits there comes Echo as well then. So yeah, Echo in the pits. We've got pit activity here. Brandon is on the soft tires then, so Brandon's gone for the soft tires. Let's see how long they can last, and they can't last too long. They can last about one driver got them to last about 9-10 laps then in this race so far, which I ain't gonna get to the end from here. That's I think that's a fact anyway. Steve and Roscoe also moving up the order as well. Steve on the medium tires, Roscoe on the hard tires to see how he can go. Jonathan's got a 3-second penalty. The race leader's got a 3-second penalty then. That is not going to help Jonathan there, is it? He really, this is going to put him under the pressure there, isn't it, from Emerson? Remember, Emerson has got a win this year, even though I completely got it wrong. I forgot about his win in Monaco, didn't I? But of course, Emerson has a win already. Can he go for a second? Jonathan hasn't got a win yet this season, has he? And I think he'll like to get the monkey off his back here tonight, wouldn't he? But unfortunately, he's putting himself under pressure because now in theory, in terms of race time, he's only 1.5 seconds in front of Emerson, and that is not a very comfortable deficit at all, is it? But of course, Granty is really it's yellow flag free. Farf is gone. Farf is out of the race. It's at turn 12. We got a virtual safety car again. Is anyone going to roll the dice at this stage, sisters? And Farf, that's a big smash. And last year's Australian Grand Prix winner is out of the race after lap 14. Then that's a disappointment then for Farf. Is into the pits comes Matt then. So Matt is coming in the pits and he's going on the medium tires. Is that going to get him to the end of the race? Well, we'll find out soon. This is the virtual safety car, isn't it? So Farf is left for session there. A very difficult day for Farf today, wasn't it? Where is Matt? Matt is still coming at the pits then. So Matt will be out in a net 9th position then. So he is he only loses half the time there, doesn't he? When Roscoe coming in the pits, Steve coming in the pits as well. Mr. Lee is carrying on. Echo is also on the medium tires as well. And Granty is really putting the hammer down now, isn't he, on Emerson? And as Emerson, I think we've been caught napping, so to speak, but we're on board with Granty and really putting the man who was second in championship under pressure. These two men have got a brilliant rivalry at the moment, haven't they? James Hunt and Lauder-esque at the moment, isn't it? A bit of camaraderie with is that a word? No, I gotta stop using these big words. A bit of banter between these two as well, isn't it? I don't think it's as epic as the Center and Prost battle just yet, is it? But who knows if this battle might rage over time? It can become that, can it? It's Emerson. I think Emerson does have the legs at this stage of the race over Grant. I feel that Emerson is the quicker car over the two. Steve and Roscoe seems to be attached by a piece of string in this race, don't they? They seem to be always together at the moment. Look, Fireshot's just keeping tabs in the background, so you can't discount out Fireshot either, can you? In this race, he is only 2 seconds back there, and I think the Fireshot had a cracking race in Silverstone, didn't he? 2 races ago, didn't he? So I think this is a much better result here for Fireshot today, much more complete, isn't he? Nigel, 12 seconds back at the moment. The man who started on the soft tires is now up into 5th position there, as it stands. But Young Lights on the hard tires in 6th position. There's all sorts of strategies going on now. Brandon has gone on the soft tires, and he's going for a sprint middle sector here. And the guys at the front, I wonder if they're going to shoot. I'm wondering if they're going to go into hard tires from here, or they go on the soft tires. I gotta say, it's up in the air, isn't it? I'm not sure what to do really. I think the safest strategy would go onto the medium to the hard tires, but of course that's not going to be the quickest strategy. Echo demonstrates that he is flying along in an 11th position moment. He will not get those points at the moment. He's 8 seconds away from a point scoring opportunity at the moment. We're keeping eyes on this battle here. It's between Emerson and Granty. This is what you want to see, isn't it? The battle between the guys who are leading the championships, and first and second there, as the man who's fourth for the championship is leading this race at the moment, but it's now under 3.9 seconds. John Fizz, as into the pits comes Granty, so he's rolled the dice. He is in the pits then, and I'm wondering now that he is going for the undercut here. Looks the has to slow down there to 60 kilometers an hour. Then he's looking for the White Williams overall mechanics. Well, they're right down the end of the pit lane after Williams' dismal performance last season. Let's see what they're doing. Car 93 is on the soft tires, Grant. He is. This is interesting. This is so. Well, Granty on the soft tires. I'm loving this. I don't know what's going to happen. Here comes Brandon, and Brandon's coming down the line. Oh, Brandon's going to be in front of Granty. He is. So Granty will not have fresh air for long, so he doesn't have long to make hay whilst the sun is shining, does he? Matt is now very close to the back of Gunnar, the Irishman, and he is gaining. Matt now going out to Gunnar. Gunnar's done 15 laps on those medium tires. That is good information for anyone who's out there. Matt is gone onto the grass there. Is Gunnar going to have a go coming down into turn number 3? He is not though, so go down to the Brundle turn. Oh, as Matt judged back there a bit, I thought he was going to have a monstrous crash there. We've already had cars mounting each other, haven't we? Which I apologise for that, guys. Of course, that's not what you want to see, is it? You wasn't tuned into the Discovery Channel, so like, were you? Wow. So you see then Steve is just dropping them back from Roscoe. It's 9 tenths of a second, and we'll keep an eye on that at the moment. So here comes the race. The gap is down to 3.2 seconds. There he is in the background. Emerson is hunting down Jonathan. It's Jonathan's tires come to the end. We're on board with Jonathan. What is he going to go on? Emerson's in the pits as well. What about Fireshot? Fireshot, they're all in the pits then. Jonathan slowed down to 60 kilometers an hour. On board with the man who's been on pole position there for 5 times this season. Can he convert it into a win? He hasn't done so just yet. Similar to Vettel's campaign back in 2010 then. Jonathan is gone onto the soft tires. He's at the soft tires again. He's had a couple of races around here, hasn't he? Nigel is taking this weekend, I should say. I should complete my sentence. Nigel leads the race then. He's done 9 laps on the medium tires. Young Lights is second. And Jonathan's going to do some overtaking here, isn't he? Brandon in third position. Granty in fourth. Emerson's dropped back. The undercut in this race is quite powerful, isn't it? Fireshot in 7th position. Matt is 8th position. 9th Gunnar. Mr. Elite in 10th position. Echo, Roscoe, and Steve 12 and 13 for the moment then. Forza saying Granty's pace on soft tires will prove good info for Silver tomorrow. Indeed it will, and it'll also make me look a bit more compliment. I don't know. It'll make me a little more smarter in the commentary box as well, which I gotta say there's a lot of room for improvement on that, isn't there? Nigel's got a 3.7 second gap at the moment. Young Lights second. He's on the hard tires. That should get him to the end quite comfortably now, shouldn't it? Judging from what is going on in this race, but we've got a bit of overtaking to do now at this stage of the race. Lap 17 out of 29 at the moment. Echo's got the fastest up at the moment, and Steve is now starting to really put the pressure on Roscoe there. They've got to say they've got a bit of a roar going on down there in 12th and 13th position then, haven't they? Jonathan there is at 6 seconds a second away, but Granty is closer to Brandon at the moment, and Brandon is feeling the heat there because the undercut has really helped Brandon as he's moved up to 4th position. He's got past Emerson and Granty here. Oh, Granty there, a bit of tapping Brandon there, hasn't he? He's going to be a cool. And look at this, and it's Young Lights. Oh my goodness me! I thought, wow, really giving the squeeze on Jonathan. Jonathan's up the inside. Granty's at the fastest up. Young Lights is through. Jonathan's through and up in the third position. Brandon, where is Granty? Granty's out. Look at him. I couldn't see him underneath the rear wing of the Toro Rosso. Brandon on the inside, outside for Granty. He swoops through up into 4th position, passes at the Toro Rosso, and he is on his way. Emerson 2 seconds back as it stands at the moment then. Wow, and fantastic stuff so far. So Nigel doesn't have to stop again. He's done 10 laps on the medium tires, hasn't he? So that's going to be the question now. Is into the pits comes Gunnar. Gunnar is on the soft tires to the end as well. So these guys know exactly what they're doing. Mr. Lee on the hard tires for Young Lights as well. Nigel's on the medium tires. There's a couple of strategies floating around at the moment. So who knows which is the right one? We're on board then with Brandon there. Look at that. Look at how much time that Granty has gained over Brandon. Brandon's a very quick driver, isn't he? But Granty is in such a sweet spot at the moment in his career, isn't he? He's fantastic, isn't he? He is unstoppable. In the first 6 races, he's won 3 of them. He has been brilliant, hasn't he? Remember, he won 2 of 2, didn't he, to start this championship, his championship defence. And got to say, when you defend a championship, it's a lot harder, isn't it? Just in terms of psyche and just mental capacity. But I got to say, this man is doing a fantastic job, isn't he? Can he complete his birthday though with getting on top step? Sam has left the session unfortunately with 10 laps to go. Sam was one of the first retirees. Emerson is fastest lap for the race there, and he's moved himself in past Brandon and up into 5th position then. So now he has got oh wow, and look at this, Young Lights are defending there, giving Granty the squeeze. He's got to go like team. A fantastic race, and Young Lights not jumping out of the way there. He's battling 2 for 0. He is he has nailed his strategy colours to the mask, hasn't he? He's gone for white. He's gone for the white hard tyres, hasn't he? And he should get to the end from there. The question is it going to be quick enough to get to the end from there? Granting through then. Now we got Emerson to come through. Emerson is really in the sweet spot, isn't he, at the moment? Emerson, I think, out of the top three, has been the quicker car in terms of race trim, hasn't he? Mr. Elite there getting a couple of getting some pelts there. I think Gunnar has. I'm not sure if Gunnar had any adventure there. Young Lights is in the middle of the track at the moment, then so Emerson is underneath the rear wing of the Red Bull, flying through turn at 12. And Granty's got a 3-second penalty. That is even it up there as well. I think it's that Granty in the foreground there, just spearing up there to the left hand side there. That was interesting, wasn't it? So that the battle then for the lead there. That has definitely helped Jonathan, hasn't he? Because now it's all square in terms of the penalty department. Jonathan is 4/10 of a second away. He is just, he's got wide there. No, that's perfect. I don't know what I'm saying. He's in DRS though. Then he's 4/10 of a second away. He's gaining. Lovely shot from the Alfa Romeo coming down to one, but I think he would like to have got by. Emerson has got by, or has he? Well, that's a good shot. But yeah, it wasn't a good shot. Where he was on the wrong part of the car there, wasn't he? Emerson up in the fourth position. Lights down to fifth. Lights, remember, this is still a good haul of points there from the Red Bull driver, so he's still on a fantastic drive, isn't he? Oh my goodness me! Jonathan there was right in the curve there. Of course, I think he almost got beached on that curve, didn't he? This is the battle for the lead then. And Steve and Roscoe, oh wow! Look at them all. It's Gunnar in there as well. This is a great battle between Steve, Roscoe, and Gunnar for 11th, 12th, and 13th. This potentially could be points there. And also Mr. Elite and Echo runs him off the track there, goes over the grass, and Echo is up in the 9th position there. This is incredible racing, isn't it? We're back on board then. Now Roscoe's got a lot of pace. He's past it. He moves up into... Oh, does he? Yes, he does. See, drive down the 12th position. We've got Gunnar there. We've got a lot of penalties all out there as well. Jonathan on the inside. He passes Nigel. He takes the lead on the Australian Grand Prix. Nigel dropping down the second. Look at the background. It's Granty and Emerson for 3rd and 4th at the moment. Nigel is dropping back into the clutch of these guys as well. It's we are now into the final third of this epic Australian Grand Prix. Nigel then, he's got a DRS then, but I think he is going to drop back, isn't he? So he's now dropping into the clutches of Granty and Emerson, who is 3rd and 4th. The calibre of the top 4 drivers is fantastic. Fireshot moves himself up into 4th position. Strong work from Fireshots. They've really doing an impressive job in the Haas. They're fantastic stuff indeed. Brandon dropping down into 7th position. He got himself back into the... well, it ain't over yet, is it? Look at this Brandon, how look there, but Fireshot there, not budging one iota there, is he? So good stuff there from Brandon there. I'm out of breath. We still got another 8 laps to go in this race then. This is the battle then for the back then, but I think we want to be looking at this one here, don't we? This is it. Jonathan leads by a second there. The only man who hasn't got a penalty in the front 4. I don't think Nigel has either, I'd say. I'm not sure. I'm rubbish at the penalty counting, but I definitely know that Jonathan and Granty has a penalty, so them two might have some problems there later on in this race in terms of where they're going to finish. Emerson doesn't have a penalty, so he is technically in the box seats as it stands at the moment. And look at this then, as he is now gaining on the back of Granty. Brandon's got a 3-second penalty as well. Brandon's under it's a Granty. I thought he was going into the back of Nigel. This game is all about inches and centimetres, and I thought he was so close to going into the back of Nigel. Look at this, there's a bit of a queue before him behind the Season 1 champion at the moment, as Nigel is in the pits then, so he's taking himself out of this battle then. I'm thinking, so Nigel now, I think he'll be going on the soft tires then, so yeah, Nigel then is unfortunately the star on the soft tires doesn't seem to be the quickest way around here. Youngless is back up in the 4th position, or he might be, because not for much longer now, because Fireshot is through and up into 4th position, and then 5th position is Youngless. Brandon is 6th. Nigel is 7th position. Where's Matt? Matt is in 8th position then in the Toro Rosso. As Gunnar in 12th and Roscoe in 13th. That battle rages on, doesn't it? I'm loving this battle here though. This is what we want to see, isn't it? This is perfect, isn't it, for this race. There's Jonathan. It's down to 1.9 seconds there. In all the pit stop action and things like that. Jonathan has had a about 5-second gap, didn't he? When these guys first came up to him, and now it's down to 1.9 seconds. As it stands, Emerson will win this Grand Prix in terms of times on track there. It feels like Suzuka 94, doesn't it? But Emerson hasn't got any penalties yet. If he keeps it clean, he is in the box season, but he needs to keep Jonathan within the 3-second deficit at the moment. And look at that then, he's had a good advantage there out of turn 12, and Emerson doing a good job to judge the understeer. He's on the outside, it's turn 13, it's Granty gonna let him go. Where are they? There they are, and Granty there is struggling to keep it arm's length, but now is Emerson is through. He's up into second position, and Emerson is 2.5 seconds. How much time they lost from battling away. Now then, Emerson is past Granty and is back into second position. Is Granty going to go? Granty is gaining. He's using all the yards. Emerson is going after the Fed. He's going after the Fed. Granty's going on the outside. I would have stuck up the inside there, but I'm not a racing driver. Oh, and look at this. He's jumping into him. As a bit of moonwalking there from Emerson. They're going on the outside. They're going into the Brundle turn. Emerson has got the inside line. Granty's on the outside. Emerson has got him deep. Then Granty's going to go for the switchback. Not quite. Look at the background. Nigel and Brandon also battling away as well. Brandon's in the pits and for the Toro Rosso team, as Granty there is all over the gearbox of Emerson. He come down into turn 6. Brilliant stuff there from these two world-class drivers. Absolutely fantastic stuff out here. It really is. Back on board then with the birthday boy Granty. Then he is on the podium at the moment. I think he will want more than the podium though, doesn't he? Fire Shot is 2 seconds behind this battle here as Young Lights is starting to really do some good time there in the Red Bull, isn't it? Keep an eye on Young Lights. He could potentially become a dark horse in this race later on. Remember, he's on the hard tires. Those hard tires I think could go for an ever and a day around this circuit. Can the soft tires? I think they're all going to be stretching the soft tires to the very end. Definitely to the limit there, isn't it? And Fire Shot is not dropping of Young Lights anymore, and he's also keeping tabs on this spot here. Fire Shot is also at the moment, and he will get in front of Granty in terms of where he is, because he's less than 3 seconds away there. So I think that Fire Shot could potentially be on the podium here at the moment. So Grant there is on the back foot, so to speak, at the moment. Jonathan is now all of a sudden starting to sprint away ever so slightly. It's out to 2.6 seconds. Oh, 2.8 seconds now. I stand corrected then. So Jonathan is now 2.8 seconds in front of Emerson second. Granty in third position. I'm wondering now. I don't think Granty has the pace to really match Emerson at this stage. But I might be wrong. Because I gotta say, I thought that last time, didn't he? And I think Granty did a good job to keep up with Emerson, but I feel Emerson in race trim just seems to be slightly quicker at this stage of the event than Granty as they come through out of turn 6 then. And this has been a cracking race, hasn't it? 5 laps to go. Who is going to win this epic Australian Grand Prix? I gotta say, it's kind of it could be anyone ball game, isn't it? Between the first 5, Lights is sitting there. Remember, Lights on the 13 lap out, hard tires. As we said though, he in terms of tires, I think he'd be the least worried. I think the Fire Shot, Granty, Emerson, and Jonathan might be very nervous. Granty has the oldest tires in terms of life, and Steve is up the inside, passes Gunnar, but Gunnar there is Joe to try and come back out as well. Steve's on those medium tires, Gunnar's on the soft tires, so Gunnar's got more grip, more stickiness on those soft tires, and Steve at the moment there has the advantage then. But I gotta say, I think Gunnar will be coming back for more later on, wouldn't he? Gunnar in third position, Steve 12th position, and then for Oscar, Mr. Relief is in 10th position as it stands. I gotta say then, we got 13 cars left out of the 16 that started. Sam retired, Mumford's out, and Farf is out of the rest. We're back on board with Young Lights. You can see he's matching with Fire Shot, which is very impressive stuff, isn't it? That's what I was talking about. Maybe Young Lights might be a dark horse later on in this race, isn't he? Because as we said, these tires can go round and round and round, and they shouldn't degrade as much. Gunner's got a 3-second penalty in his epic battle with himself and Steve at the moment. Steve there is just dropping Gunnar at the moment, the Irishman Gunnar at the moment. I'm being a bit careful what I say about Gunnar, because every time I compliment him, he usually ends up in the fence. So let's hope that don't happen tonight. We're on board with the most experienced driver in ALR history with 42 race starts here tonight. Absolutely brilliant stuff, isn't it? Remember, the second place in terms of the ALR starts is actually Murphy, but unfortunately Murphy is not racing in the last 2 races, which is actually very unusual. I don't think that's ever happened in the ALR history there. Of course, Dan Dan is out ill tonight, isn't he? So no yellow cars are racing at all here, and that is going to hurt them in the constructors. Remember, Renault are the defending champions, aren't they? With brilliant drivers last season. Of course, Renault had Grant, of course, the eventual winner of ALR, and also we had Wishbone and Brandon as well, getting a 1-2 in Abu Dhabi as well. Really a good cemented, really brilliant way of cementing your constructors' victory there, isn't it? That was fantastic stuff. Brandon is now gaining on Matt. Matt is in 7th position, 8th position is Brandon, and of course, last time out, Matt was leading the Hungarian Grand Prix, wasn't he, for a split second. But I think it was, unfortunately, it was Boden, who, I can't say Boden was flying in the Haas last weekend, wasn't he? He was fantastically quick. Unfortunately, him and Jonathan had the slightest of taps, didn't he, in turn 4. And then, unfortunately, he completely skittled Matt out of the way there. Matt was on course for an incredible 4th position result there in last time out, so that was a shame. Now his fire shot is now within shooting range actually of Granty. He is under a second away. Granty is struggling at this stage of the race, isn't he? Emerson is going to under a second as well. We're so close from home that Jonathan has led most of this race, hasn't he? But Emerson is going who had an appalling start because he wasn't even on the grid, was he, so to speak? He wasn't even in the session, but he's coming back, and but he's coming back into this now, and he could potentially take the lead. He's technically taking the lead, I think, in terms of what's going on in the stewards room with all kinds of penalties and stuff. As Simon just said, bloody turn 5, he spun there. As Brandon there almost going into the back of Matt. Then as they come out of turn 12, and if he has the momentum, he could potentially have a go into turn 14. He has a lot of momentum. He comes out from underneath the rear wing of the Red Bull. He passes Matt. He moves up into 7th position. Brandon is, and he is on his way. Matt was on 12 lap owed soft tires there as well. This is the battle for the lead. Emerson is on the inside. He passes Jonathan. Jonathan is not giving up, is he? Contact. And there's a bit of a half spin there. Look at the background. It's a fire shot and Granty Barrow as well. Look at Young Lights. He's just hovering there. He's hovering there. He is just waiting for his moment. Young Lights. Can Young Lights get on the podium there? It won't be an absolutely epic drive from Young Lights on the alternative strategy. He's been brilliant today as the Young Lights. Remember, he started third on the grid. Can he finish there? That is probably his task there. Fire shot. This is best result of the season so far. His best drive, I think, of the season so far. He's had a difficult start. Fire shot has. He's usually there or thereabouts, isn't he? He's a very quick driver, but the start hasn't been great at all. Granted, they're just defending as hard as he can there in the Williams there, but it's a very tough ask at the moment, isn't it, for Granty, as he is thrown away. Emerson on the outside again, going into turn 12. He passes Jonathan. Jonathan's on the inside. They make contact. Emerson swoops out. He takes the lead of the Australian Grand Prix with 3 laps to go. Emerson leads. Lights is through. Fireshot's had a problem. He has dropped down the orders. Roscoe and Steve have also swapped position as well. So like Young Lights is up into 4th position there as Jonathan Caddy gained, and we're back on board. The British are time in the straight. I don't think it's long enough, is it, for Jonathan to never go into turn 1. Emerson is leading with 2 laps to go. Oh, Jonathan has a lot of understeer there, doesn't he? As Emerson leads in. Brilliant drive from Emerson today. Fantastic stuff. He was down the midfield, wasn't he? He was in the midfield madness to begin with, wasn't he? Emerson was, because he disconnected. But incredible, absolutely incredible stuff there from Emerson to battle his way back through, back up into the lead. Then British stuff. Young Lights. Oh wow, he's had a great race. He's going to pop for underneath the rear wing. He's on the inside. He passes Granty, the champion, and he moves into 3rd position. Fantastic stuff. Now Fireshot's all on the back of Granty as well. Granty is in trouble. Granty's in trouble off the inside. Fireshot is, he passes Granty. Granty has to take evasive action and steer out of that maneuver. Fireshot is back up into 4th position. Granty is down to 5th in this incredible Australian Grand Prix. Let me take a look. I think Belgium didn't have a very good result. Oh, Granty's off. Granty's off. I think he's struggling there. Granty is today. He's on a bit of rotten luck there, isn't he? Nigel is luckily a couple of seconds back there. Jonathan's got another 3-second penalty. He might lose 2nd position here. There's Nigel in the background, and so Nigel is on much fresher rubbers as well. He could potentially take Granty as well, as Granty's had a bit of a nightmare race there. Look at this, he's struggling. Granty is in Granty's in trouble. He's in major trouble there. The man who's leading the championship. Oh no, it's all gone awry, hasn't it? Final lap of the Australian Grand Prix. Jonathan is still within a second, but he's got another couple of penalties, hasn't he? And that might hurt him, and that might drop him down the third position. Young Lights could get a second here. Brilliant second. He said he liked this track, and he indeed is he indeed is definitely showing he's got some pace around here, hasn't he? Fantastic end to this incredible Australian Grand Prix. 13 cars remain then in this race. As Sam has, let me just quickly review Sam's comment now. I know this. I think this is a good opportunity there. Whilst they all spread out slightly. Sam said he didn't. I believe if I didn't spin, I would have got some points in the bag. I've had a good start of the season. Sam has had a good start of the season, hasn't he? Of course, he's on 10 points. He's accumulated 10 points this season, which is almost. Let me just figure my maths here. It's 3 times more than what he accumulated in the whole of last season. Sam does. Sam has really improved this season. I think he's as we said in Monaco, he gained almost 3 seconds from his first race in Monaco last season. He was almost 4, 5 seconds in front of his qualifying time. Absolutely fantastic stuff for Sam. Hard luck today for the McLaren driver. Emerson is coming through, and Granty's down to 7th there. It's going horribly wrong. Emerson wins his 2nd race of the season down under here in Australia. Granty's down to 8th. Jonathan is 2nd. Young Lights in 3rd position. Fireshot is coming through to finish in 4th position. Granty's got problems. Granty's got huge problems there. Fireshot in 4th position. Nigel is in 5th position. Brandon 6th. Matt in 7th position. Granty, he needs to get to the end there. Has he got a puncture? He has got a puncture. Granty's got a puncture. The tyres, there's just too much strain on the tyres there. Granty, of course, I think he finished 8th in Belgium. This will be equal his worst result there. Echo, I think will be too far behind. Granty is going to come through at 8th position there. So, unfortunately for the birthday boy, it didn't go too well for Granty. But still, points is, I think those 4 points might be crucial. Oh, it's Echo there. I've just skimmed Granty's car. Those points might be crucial at the end of the season. Mr. Lee is going to come through in 10th position. The end. Echo finishes 9th. Mr. Lee is in 10th position then. As I thought he was almost going to skittle into no, Steve gets 10th position. Mr. Lee is down at 12th position there as a Gooner. I think Gooner is I think he's emulating Granty here, isn't he? I'm wondering then. But I think he might have a puncture as well, actually. Emerson, 2 race wins there for this season for Emerson. Absolutely fantastic stuff there for Emerson. That was a brilliant drive. Of course, it was all on the back foot, wasn't he? And Emerson has now got 7 race wins to his name. He is, I think that is actually, 7 race wins to his name, Emerson. He has joined the most successful driver in ALR history for Emerson. Fantastic stuff here today. He has joined the record holder, Nigel, who is on 7 as well. But absolutely brilliant stuff, Emerson. 2 wins though this season, and this is that is a huge amount of points getting back over Grant. I'm not going to hazard a guess now because my maths is absolutely appalling. As Fireshot said that. Not Fireshot, sorry. Forza said, right, soft's bad idea. It looked like it in the end, didn't it? Also, Jonathan saying, nah, Lobby Glitch. It was saying I was 10 seconds ahead of Emerson, then it said I was 6 seconds behind Emerson. Okay, we'll have to investigate that. We'll investigate that after the race then. But as it stands, then Emerson, no penalties either. So let's take a quick look then at the final classification then for the Australian Grand Prix. Might be unofficial. Emerson, his 2nd race win of his season is his 7th race win of his career. Equal now with Nigel. Fantastic stuff. Jonathan finished 2nd in the end with Young Lights, his best result in 3rd. Fantastic stuff. Fireshot in 4th. 5th position, Nigel. Matt 6th. Brandon 7th. Granty, an appalling day in 8th position. Echo 9th. Steve in 10th. Roscoe, Mr. Lee and Guna 11th, 12th and 13th. Farf, Mumford and Sam all retired from this Australian Grand Prix, and that is round 7 in the books. As we're just loading up and getting back into the lobby, and this gives me a bit of time then to just relax a bit and take a deep breath, because my goodness me, it wasn't about quantity today, was it? It was about quality, and there's a lot of quality out there, wasn't it? As we got Lights, we got Jonathan in the party, and we're just waiting for the race winner as well, Emerson, who might be struggling to find the accept button, but hopefully he'll be here in just a few moments' time. But I think we go from third to first today. Actually, how about that? Young Lights. Wow, fantastic drive today. That was your best result of ALR, and you said in the build up to this race that you was feeling strong. You felt good on this track. Wow, you weren't bluffing. That was an incredible performance today.
Oh, I'm so happy. I've never got that. The start of ALR in Abu Dhabi, I only got 1 point like due to connection issues, and I thought I was gonna lag out today due to connection issues. But today, I'm so happy. I said I was gonna. I've been practicing a lot, and like, it paid off. So I'm really happy.
Indeed it did. I got to say, you went on the alternative strategy to everyone else, where you went onto the hard tires, and that definitely paid dividends in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, at the start I didn't think it was going to work because everybody was overtaking me. I thought I was going to end up in 7th, but then towards the end, people started, the West started to kick in on the soft compound tyres, and that's when I was like, this is my chance to come back.
Oh, indeed it was there. I got to say, it was an incredible end there too. You stole third position at the end, fantastic. Your first pole position of ALR, I think the first of many as well. I know we're on round 7, but of course it's such a long season now. Is this where your championship season really starts to kick off?
Yeah, it is. I'm really happy now. Just have to focus to the next one now.
Indeed, and well done, Lights. Absolutely fantastic performance. You definitely put me on my toes today. Fantastic stuff today, buddy. Well done. Your first podium in ALR, and I think there's a sign of more to come. Second place there was Jonathan in the end, but a bit of controversy, which I got to say, in ALR Gold, there's always controversy out there. So I think that Nose has got a long night ahead of him. But yeah, I think it was saying that you were 10 seconds in front of Emerson in terms of where you were on position on the track. We'll come to that in a minute, because let's come to your qualifying performance first of all. Your 7th pole position, no, your 6th pole position of your career. Absolutely fantastic stuff. That lap was incredible.
Yeah, incredible lap. Excuse me. To be honest, I was a little bit disappointed in the pole lap because I was surprised I managed to get pole position because I didn't think they had very much quali pace. I lost a tenth and a bit maybe in the final sector, but somehow I managed to get pole position and keeping up my pole position record. And in terms of the race, yeah, they were all right. A little bit miffed off by the lobby glitch, which I don't know how that happened. Just saying that I was 10 seconds ahead of Emerson, then I was 12 seconds ahead, 14 seconds, and it went back down to 10, and then I thought, this ain't right. He's like 3 seconds behind me. But
that's interesting. That is with the lobby glitches. I've like, because Emerson did wander away, didn't he? I think he must have forgotten they had the cooker on or something, but he did rejoin, and we had all sorts of fun stuff, which we'll come to in a minute, because whatever I see, no one else sees. But we'll look at that in a minute. But yeah, at the moment, then you are classified as second in the end. Today, but I gotta say, in the race, you did pull away, didn't you? In the first stint there, from what I've seen on the actual spectator mode, it looked like you had a 5-second gap over the remaining field. Then they started to reel you in. Was that what you was also seeing at the end of the first stint, or was you seeing something different?
What you were saying, where you said like 5 seconds?
Yeah, about 5 seconds, just before you came in the pits.
No, mine was saying I was 12 seconds ahead of Emerson, which wasn't right, basically. I knew he was minimum 5 seconds, maybe 4 seconds behind me, and it was just saying 12 seconds on the lobby, and I thought, that's not right. So I couldn't really work out what my gap was.
And well, that's a shame, that is, because I think that would have made it very difficult to plan for the race as well. So unfortunate on that. But of course, getting still a podium today, especially with Granty having an appalling day, is he's just confirmed this, as he just said, it was a birthday jinx. So hopefully, luckily you'll get one birthday a year, so hopefully Granty can move on from this, and he'll be back in Bahrain. I have no doubt about that. But this would be your 4th podium today in 7 races, which is an absolutely fantastic start, really. The second half of the season was when you really started to ramp it up, but it seems like you're very consistent right from the off this season.
I'm starting to get a little bit more consistent, but there's always room for improvement. And I mean, the pole positions, for example, I couldn't hardly get any pole positions last season, apart from Mexico and Abu Dhabi. And this season I seem to have put that to bed and seem to have flown away in terms of pole positions, and I'm pleased about that. I just want to convert the pole positions to race wins, which is what I'm lacking at the moment. But I'm practicing pretty much every night, pretty much every day, to improve the racecraft. But I'm happy with second, and second still a great result, and well done to Emerson. Congratulations on the race win, well deserved. And as well, congratulations to Young Lights as well on your first podium. Well done, mate.
Absolutely stellar stuff. Well done, Jonathan. Of course, Jonathan, 5 podiums this season, and it is actually 7, not 6. Let's, in terms of all-time pole position, let's come to the man who's actually just joined the highest wins in ALR history with 7 himself, and that is Emerson. I gotta say, Emerson, you do like to make it hard for yourself, don't you? I'm not sure where you went to the on the formation lap. I gotta say, it's not the most funnest lap in the Grand Prix, but you wasn't seem to be interested in the formation lap. What happened there?
Honestly, I don't have a clue. I mean, I was just there and I was talking to Granty, and then all of a sudden I would just end up talking to myself. Everyone was lagging. I was like, oh no, it's happening. Couldn't have happened at a worse time.
You basically died, mate.
Yeah. But then, yeah, managed to jump back in the car at lap 2. I was, I think, 9th or 10th, and then I thought, oh, this is over here. Like, I thought I'd only be able to get up to like 4th most. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty hectic race. I mean, I don't know how I managed to finish it. I had the same problem as John. He kept on saying he was 11 seconds ahead of me, and I was looking. I was like, that looks more like 5 at the most. And then I kept on gaining, and it kept on just saying about 10 seconds. So I don't know what was going on with the lobby, but yeah, interesting.
Talking of interested, the first couple of laps with you and Echo was very interested. Unfortunately, we might have to censor out the first couple of laps as you and Echo was mounting each other, which I have to apologise to the audience because that was not really PG. But anyway, moving on from that, your pace today was absolutely fantastic stuff. I mean that. I was saying about you and Grant having an incredible battle. By the way, I think that was what we wanted to see today, was Granty and Emerson battling away. And we did get that for several laps. It was fantastic stuff to watch. But no disrespect to Granty, but I felt overall in the race you had the quicker race pace. You just seemed to be an absolute amazing sync around you. Unfortunately, your car might not have been in terms of time, but you was definitely in sync today.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've like you said earlier, I haven't raced around Australia yet in ALR, but something just clicked today and the car just worked perfectly, the setup worked, tyres worked, strategy worked, and then yeah, it's just everything all came together.
And in terms of the championship, we have to end on a high as well, because you've narrowed the points down considerably. It's under 10 points, I believe. Don't quote me on that, because my masters are appalling, and I haven't done my spreadsheet yet. But but I think it is under 10 points then. Grant had a bit of a rough old day today. He did put it down to the birthday jinx there, but have you rattled him?
I guess you could say that, yeah, but I don't want it because it's his birthday. Kind of feel a bit bad for him. Yeah.
To be honest, he had a puncture at the end as well, so it just didn't go right at all. I think he had a season's worth of bad luck in one race. So so I have a feeling to be back strong in Bahrain next week, which is where we're going next week. We are going to the desert, and I got to say, I don't really like sunshine, so yeah, it's not one of my favourite races, but luckily it's in the dark. We'll be in Bahrain having a duel in the desert. It's going to be fantastic stuff. Remember, tomorrow night, though, at 7:30, it is Silver's turn, isn't it? At the moment, Glock is 6 for 6 in terms of pole positions. He's made that pole position his own, really. Is anyone else going to stop him? That's the question. In terms of racing as well, Glock has had 4 Grand Slams in 6 races. Just unbelievable, isn't it? Join us tomorrow, 7:30 for Silver. Next week, we're in Bahrain, same time of 6:30 for Sunday for the Gold guys to come back. The championship standards will be updated very soon as well. We're going to be back in about 24 hours time, but from now, it's goodbye.